Biles has submitted an original skill on the uneven bars. If she can successfully complete it, it will be the 6th move named after her and the first on the bars.
It's time.
You know what time it is?
The game for Tuscaloosa's longest running sports show.
The biggest goal of our team,
especially in the first half,
we at Bama, we're trying to be the best. Always is to win a national championship.
Something cool to look back on.
We don't want to waste a failure.
You're inside the game.
John Mechie on the ground.
Appreciate your interest in the game.
On your home for Alabama sports.
Alabama wins.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. Now, here's your award-winning host, Ryan Fowler.
And a big good afternoon to you. Welcome into the game. Hope you're having a great Friday. We're going to have a great Friday because we're going to be talking a lot of college football, and we close down, I guess, somewhat of an unofficial offseason start next week with practice beginning on the campus of the University of Alabama. We're going to talk with Tony Tsoukalas. We'll get a comprehensive preview of camp, and we're going to dive into that coming up in just a couple of minutes from Tide Illustrated Rivals.com. He's one of the beat reporters. He's also the managing editor, so he wears a lot of different hats. We'll talk with him. We'll talk to Brent Beard. We'll dive into some things. What's on your mind today? A free-for-all Friday. We kick our feet up on our desk a little bit. As we always like to say, even though we don't have any long hair, we let our hair back a little bit and we have a little fun. There's no telling. We're not responsible for accidents. Please keep it on the 10 and the 2 on the steering wheel. You never know what's going to come up, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we were a little bit in the weeds. You never know. Today may be in the weeds as well, and that's okay. You know, I was reflecting on a lot of calls yesterday. We had some great interaction. Piano Man, Thursday, that was you, man. That was a really, really good phone call. I got a lot of compliments from your call, and I'll pass those on to you. A lot of people enjoying what you had to say yesterday from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, so we'll dive into it. This just in, Kirby Smart challenging Urban Meyer. He wants to be able to dominate the arrest record that Urban Meyer set back in, 08, 09? Urban Meyer had a lot of players arrested. Georgia, doesn't look like you're very focused on getting back in that winning circle because now another player, I know you guys have already heard about it, but Ra Thomas is a guy that listed as a backup, but a guy that can make a contribution from Eufaula, a senior, charged with cruelty to children and family violence, a second-degree felony, 2 misdemeanor counts of battery family violence. He was jailed this morning at 3:20 a.m. Eastern and being held without bond. So, Ra Thomas, okay, all right. Georgia, what's going on here? You guys okay? Now, I've heard other people talking about it, and you do think about the world of NIL, okay? You do, but I don't think it in some ways there's not really a correlation, but in some ways there may be a correlation because you do look at the transfer portal and you do look at things that, you know, if this young man got kicked off, I mean, does Kirby have any control right now, or does any college coach have any control right now? I mean, you can discipline a guy, but you may have a chance to lose him. Now, we've talked about the 105 and the scholarship. Ross Delling's reporting that will be filed later today officially, the 105. Now, would this give you a little wiggle room? It possibly could. You don't know exactly how these coaches are going to manage this, but when you look at Georgia, Kirby Smart's trying to give Urban Meyer a little bit of a run for his money. We got a big camp weekend, cold summer cookout. That's going to be this weekend. Some 2026 and some 2025 recruits here. Going to be a big weekend here, and we'll dive into it. We'll talk about it. We'll celebrate it as we get ready to open up practice. Players report on Tuesday. First practice on a Wednesday. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyline Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. Some great interest specials, including 1.99 for a 2024 Tundra, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive options. This is one of the lowest interest rates happening at the Tundra. We did it in the month of June for a limited time. They extended it throughout July. Don't know exactly if it could be renewed for August. The big one sales event that includes the 2024 Highlander with several different colors, several different models to choose from, 3.99 APR for 36. It is Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. We are 36 days away. Brought to you by Alabama Credit Union, alabamacu.com, and we're going to do our free-for-all Friday, and we'll get to those phone calls coming up in a couple of minutes. We are also going to make somebody's day. Coming up, and that last part of the show, we're going to draw out the grand prize winner, and that will be a reflection of all the entries that we had. SEC parlay pick contest that we do on Friday. Now, when football season gets here, we will shift and we'll go away from Free For All Friday. We'll put it on hold, at least for the time being, and then we'll bring it back in the off season. It's the way we've always done it. We'll do SEC parlay picks. So Brian Harden Construction every Friday made possible by those guys. Also the weekly winners. We will draw that out coming up in that 5:45-ish, somewhere right there, and give it away some nice little goodies there. And we're already working on another big package for next year. And there's a lot of variance, but there is some consistent parts. RecTech's been a huge part of our show for a long time. We appreciate the grill. We appreciate the cooler. And we'll give away the Rocky head-to-toe package. That's been a part of it. And then also some other things, including Mark's Mark. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys always for being a great sponsor of ours. We'll do another Dreamland gift card in there as well. A Big Mike's gift card. Thank you very much. And then also a Moultrie game camera. So we'll give away the 2023 package. Nice little value. I haven't added it all up, but nice always. And we try to do this to reward. And if you out there and you're brand new to our show, we love to give things away, as most radio stations do. A Tuesday and a Wednesday, we do a little score prediction contest. And then on when we get to Friday, we do the parlay pick contest, and we'll throw in all the SEC games and some of the non-conference games from a national spotlight. I mean, I can almost guarantee it, it would be the SEC side of things. But if you look at the Georgia situation, can Kirby suspend these players? Because you got Clemson, and you got Clemson in 36 days, but you've now started to pile up the arrest. And so what do you do? Oh, nothing, no big deal, nothing big deal. But I'm sure they're going to be focused. And you could almost imagine that this final weekend before camp opens up is probably one of the most nerve-wracking for all these coaches, because this is the weekend that things unfortunately happen. Because just like we're celebrating here, Wyatt, you got a look on your face. Did you just see something go across the wire or something? No. Oh.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I could tell by the face, the way that your face, and I'm still logging in of all my my side of things.
I've got it pulled up here.
So Tua gets paid. Talk to me.
$53.1 million per year, $167 million guaranteed.
Dadgum. Wow. Tua Tagovailoa. Wow. Tua extended the Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa agreeing to a 4-year, $212 million deal. Think about where we were at this time last year. He needed to prove that he could stay healthy. Now he's getting paid $53.1 million average. It will be one of the highest out there on a 4-year extension in the NFL history. Hold on, the $53.1 million average on Tua Tagovailoa's deal is the highest on a 4-year extension in NFL history. Wow, that's big. 167 of the 212 will be guaranteed. So, wow, that's big. Tua Tagovailoa getting a check. That's a big one. Wow. I mean, that's even hard to comprehend. But Tua getting that deal. And, wow. That's one that you think about it. But if you're a Dolphin fan, you're paying this, but you're also in the back of your mind, Tua's lost a lot of weight. But there's very few seasons that he's been able to play all the games and not be injured. Now, last year was kind of one of those, I guess, outlier if you want to think about him. Listen, I was the president of the Tua Tagovailoa fan club, so I'm not one of those guys that kind of runs from it. But that is a big cash. So congratulations to Tua Tagovailoa. Can you help us with our NIL deal, please, Tua, please? But he gets the $224 million extension. According to Ian Rappaport, we're going to talk with Tony Tsoukalas. We'll talk to Brent Beard. We'll take all your phone calls, and we'll dive into it. We'll take some shots at Georgia. We'll have a little fun. I know the guys that live over in the state, you guys have probably had a lot of fun. All of our callers over there, whether it's McBama in Atlanta or Josh up in North Georgia or Bama Nick down in Americus, Georgia, you guys are probably having a little bit too much fun with that. But it is a serious crime. Anytime you can mention the word felony there, that's one of those that grabs us. We'll dive into it. We'll take your time. We'll take your phone calls coming up in about 20 minutes. T-Town, Tide, 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
Federal, state, local, and Weather Service officials are meeting in Greensboro today to discuss a gap in weather radar in West Alabama and how to fill that gap. Pickens County officials have scheduled a meeting Thursday, August 15th at the Pickens County Service Center in Carrollton. State and local elected officials will meet to determine a way forward in getting at least the emergency room for the closed Pickens County Medical Center reopened. Northport residents opposed to the University Beach Resort have filed a suit against the city claiming
supplies. Stop by Northport Electrical Supply Monday through Friday, 7 until 4, right next to Northport Auto Supply, Highway 82 West in Northport.
Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. Call Paul at 205-331-6823. Custom curbing for your home or business. Do away with those plastic individual stone borders. Go for that more permanent, decorative concrete border. No more grass growing between those individual stones. Cleaner to edge to maintain. They're willing to travel, not just here in Tuscaloosa, but also in our neighboring states as well over in Mississippi. Many colors and choices. They'll customize for that individual taste and house. Give them a call at 205-331-6823. You could also go to their Facebook account. Find their page. You can see exactly what the videos. They came out, did a free quote. Paul gave me an evaluation. Give them a call, 205-331-6823. Free quotes and evaluation. It is Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. Call Paul at 205-331-6823. The Pharmacy at Midtown with TJ Thomas, 205-752-0627. PharmacyMidtown.com. Don't forget about the retail side of the Pharmacy at Midtown. It's an independent-owned pharmacy specializing in walk-in prescriptions, medicine on time packaging, which increases that independence. Compounding needs. The only sterile compounding facility in Tuscaloosa is the Pharmacy at Midtown with TJ Thomas.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A warm, humid afternoon. A few scattered showers and thunderstorms around through tonight. The high today 87, the low tonight 74. Tomorrow partly sunny. The chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms by afternoon. The high 89. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
The best breakdown of Alabama football in the state. The Game with Ryan Fowler. On your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
You know, this would be a good challenge, and I may challenge Tony Sakalas. I know Alabama did this a few years ago, but I'd love to know the Nick Saban money that these guys have been able to create. Like if you looked at all the 17 years, and you went through and you added it all up, what would it equal? Tua Tagovailoa gets the new deal. It is a record-setting deal. It would be the largest four-year deal in the history of the NFL. $167.1 million is guaranteed, but a $212.4 million contract extension. It's even hard to say. Tua Tagovailoa getting paid. Tony Sakalas, Rivals.com, Tide Illustrated, enjoying his final weekend before college football gets underway next week. And Tony, I hope all is well. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Ryan, I could do with $212.4 million right now. I think we all could.
Yeah, I mean, what would be the first thing that you would buy with $212 million?
Geez, I don't know, a new house.
Okay, new house.
It's like unoriginal, right? I wish I had like a cooler answer to give you for that.
Okay, but now would your alma mater get any for the NIL slush fund? I mean, would you make the donation?
I don't know. Would that be journalistically?
It would be, but I mean, at that point, I don't think you would be no longer a journalist. I mean, no offense, Tony, but
I gotta admit, as much as I like this, I don't think I would be very long for the journalistic world if I was making.
No.
What did I say? $212 million.
Yeah, you would be on a yacht somewhere, some big condo. I mean, you'd be floating from. When it's too hot, you'd go to the mountains and enjoy the cold weather, and when it's too cold there, you'd go to the beach. I mean, you'd have a private helicopter. I mean, you'd be living a different lifestyle.
If we're really being serious about this, Ryan, I think I would invest a lot in property. Like, I think that's the way to go.
It is. It is.
I think, you just, like, if I'm Tua right now, I'm buying houses wherever I want to buy. Like, wherever I want to, like, vacation at, that's getting the house right now.
Well, and the other thing is, living in Florida, there's no state income tax, which is another significant.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about that. I mean, so we definitely want to set up residence in one of those states, either Texas. I know you're from Texas. They don't have state income tax either.
Right.
I think Tennessee doesn't either. So you would definitely set up one of those states. So we would lose you as a resident of the great state of Alabama, and that'd just be a smart move. You could just be a temporary citizen here or whatever. But I mean, that's a lot of cash. That is a lot of cash, and Tua is a guy that has, he's had an injury bug. I mean, he's not been able to shake it, but last year had a great year. And I guess that's what it makes is when you look at the quarterback. Wow.
Quarterbacks are so valuable too, Ryan. I mean, that's why everybody wants to be the quarterback, because that's the kind of money that comes with it, So, and, teams know that they can't win without having a quarterback. So you got a guy that's talented like Tua. Sure, there's been an injury history, but I think you just got to take those chances if you're Miami, because your best chance of winning is with Tua. So you might as well, lock him up. Look at, I'm a Patriots fan, and hopefully it gets better with Drake May this year. But, look at just what happened to the Patriots after Tom Brady left, and it's not all quarterbacks, but that's a huge part of it. And so, yeah, I think, well-deserved for Tua, because when you look at talent, I mean, he's right there with the top players in the league. It's just a matter of him staying healthy, which hopefully, knock on wood, he's able to kind of bite, kick that injury bug and kind of get past that and really live up to his potential.
Tony, when you think about the NFL, you cannot win without a quarterback. In college, you've been able to navigate some of that, right? I mean, and let's go back 10 years ago. You could kind of have a game manager and you could kind of work your way through it. I mean, college football has got so close to the NFL. If you don't have a quarterback, you really don't have a chance.
Yeah, I think that's in football in general. If you don't have someone that can, can at least operate the offense. I mean, I don't think you need to have necessarily. I'd make the argument, and this is kind of a hot take, Ryan, but I'd make the argument that now that football has gotten so spread out and they're passing it so much and they're doing so much that you just need a capable quarterback. I think actually, the offenses have become so complex that if you get a guy that can manage your offense, there's different ways to get the ball quickly to playmakers. I mean, I don't think Brock Purdy is, I don't think he's a bad quarterback, but I don't think he's an elite quarterback. And you're able to get to the Super Bowl with him. You look at that. I think if you surround a good quarterback, now you can't just have a bad quarterback, but if you surround a good quarterback with weapons, I think that you can win that way as well. So I think that's part of it. I think Alabama is fortunate to have a great, potentially great quarterback with a lot of weapons this year. So that's kind of we'll have to see, but that could be a really promising thing for Alabama.
And as we open up camp, I want to go back to Jalen Milroe up in New York City. Anything that he said that grabbed you? I mean, we've heard a lot of the same stuff. It was just on a national platform, but did he say anything that grabbed you from your perspective?
I mean, we wrote about the fact that, he wouldn't set out an Iron Bowl, but, were you surprised by that? I don't think any of the players on this team would set out an Iron Bowl. It's kind of a silly question to ask if you know about this rivalry. Jalen's gotten that quarterback robot speech down pat. Really
he does. He does.
Yeah.
But he's got energy when he talks, though. He's got plenty of energy.
He is great, but I don't necessarily mean this as a slight at Jalen, but he is so on message, and he's so you can tell he's so trying to get that Kalen DeBoer speech down and get those talking points down. It reminds me of like when I was in early Spanish class, and like you had to talk for like 2 minutes. So like you memorized a couple of phrases, and like you made sure to work those into the sentence because like that's like the 4 phrases I knew in Spanish. Sometimes I feel like when we're talking to Jalen Milroe or when he's going on these national things, he's getting those 4 phrases that he wants to get in with Kalen DeBoer into any conversation. He'll work it in because he wants to get that message across, which is what you kind of want as a quarterback. In the media, it might be a little frustrating, but, I think from his sake, he's really good about, I don't think Jalen's going to say anything.
Well, and Tony, you do kind of wonder, as far as that the conversation about that final weekend, that's going to come up because it's something I really don't think about, and I don't think Alabama players are going to sit down in the Iron Bowl, but it will become one of those things that we dive into. Will that be a conversation? Because when you look at the college football playoffs, if you feel like that you're in, because look at the NFL, what do they do that final weekend? If they're in, they kind of mail it in. I mean, a lot of times you'll see, because I know fantasy football, what does it end like on week 16 instead of week 17, simply because of looking at it. So even though they wouldn't do it for the Iron Bowl, you could you could kind of see that maybe that would be a topic of conversation.
Yeah, no, look, I'm never going to win an argument by saying that you should sit out an Iron Bowl, but there is an argument to be made that strategically that game could not matter. And that's just a disappointing thing, in my opinion, of having the playoff the way it is, you've just devalued those games, those really important games that your sport is built on. You've really kind of devalued those, and I hate it. I think it's terrible, but that's just there's no changing it at this point. But I do think I don't think it's going to be ever Alabama sitting an Iron Bowl. I think that rivalry is too big. It just means too much, and there'll always be the argument to get the best seeding you can get, even if theoretically it wouldn't matter. But I do think that in other circumstances that you will see teams, maybe sit out a game that they wouldn't normally sit out, or, it will diminish some rivalries. It's kind of the same thing of what's the culture you have behind your program? Did we really see Alabama players opting out of too many, bowl games, like the Sugar Bowl when they weren't playing for the playoffs? We didn't really see that, the Citrus Bowl. But it happened across the nation, and it still happened a little bit with Alabama. So I kind of think Alabama's got really good roots and really good, it's almost like you can say that stuff doesn't happen at Alabama. And from the Iron Bowl perspective, that stuff really can't happen at Alabama.
Sure.
I think there'd be an outbreak among both fans. But I do think it's going to happen. Some other rivalries that are not not necessarily as big, but I could see it being a case of is Florida State going to play all its players against Florida? Maybe you look at those kind of things. How big are some of those other rivalries? I wonder if those situations would maybe present themselves a little bit more in those cases.
Well, and let's say that you've got a quarterback or a running back that is, let's say he's a little bit banged up, because we know the grind of the season. When you get there, and let's say he's 80%, at that point, there's a little incentive to shut him down, right? To say, okay, you know what? We're okay. We're okay. We're not going to lose. This is not going to change our positioning. You don't want to do that, but at the end of the day, it's all about hoisting up a trophy. So, the injuries could play a role in there too, because at the back end of the season, the players are usually have a lot of bumps and bruises. So that's another element that we can kind of look at from that perspective.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's going to be something that, and managing this, I think managing this season, this extended, playoff is, I don't think enough has been talked about that. The depth, it's kind of counter, intuitive, because you've got the transfers have kind of diminished the depth across college football, because there's not as many people that are willing to wait for their turn as a starter. So you're seeing some of this depth on Alabama, but other schools as well, being depleted a bit. And then you've got a longer season for these same contenders that are losing their key backups. That's not a great mix, Ryan. I think that's going to, create some interesting scenarios. And I think, you're going to really have to work on development in order to get some of, these young players ready to play, because the way these rosters on these contenders are being built is you have highly talented young players, and then players that are probably know that they're going to play. And you're losing that guy that has to wait until his junior or senior year to see the field. And sometimes that guy can really come in and help you from a depth standpoint. So if you don't have him, you really got to, increase the development of those younger players, because there's a chance that injuries happen and they're going to have to be forced onto the field sooner than they have been in the past.
And Milroe was asked about this as well, but you were raised in the state of Texas. You came to the University of Alabama. You're a media member who covers this Alabama and Auburn game. How does it compare, in your opinion, to Texas and Oklahoma? Because you lived in that state.
Yeah, being from Texas, I'm still not a great person to ask. I was more of a pro fan, in high school. I will say that, my best friend goes to OU, so he'll argue that rivalry. I think there's two ways to look at it, right? And I think that there is our state versus your state kind of rivalry, and some people think that having different states creates more of a divide. But at the same time, I think at Alabama it's fiercer because they are both in the same state, and you're going to school with these people that if you grew up in high school and you have a friend from Auburn, you're going to hear it from them all the time. Chances are, if you're living in Austin, Texas is so big, you're not going to have many Oklahoma fans in Austin. Maybe that Dallas area is where you get a little bit of a mix, but I think just the people outside of the state of Alabama, I could see where maybe they don't appreciate the Iron Bowl rivalry. But if you live a year here and you just see the ferocity of, everything is Alabama versus Auburn. It could be, even like fundraising around Thanksgiving, they have like the Beat Auburn, Beat Hunger. Like literally everything revolves around beating Auburn. I think that's just makes it so great, and I will vote it always as the top rivalry in college football.
Yeah, like I said, it would be part of the SEC and that coming in. Tony, I'm sure your team is working on the recruiting side of things. We've got a cold summer a cookout. And I do want to take just a minute to thank Kayla DeBoer and Courtney Morgan. Tony, we've lived here in Tuscaloosa. Tuscaloosa generally is one of the hottest places in the summer. Now, you lived in Texas, so that may be a little bit different. It's always hot out there. But we have had a mild, knock on wood, July. We want to thank the Alabama coaching staff, but another cold summer workout, cookout this weekend on the campus.
Yeah, maybe they've willed that into existence. I wrote a story about the hockey team and how they influenced the cold summer with the jerseys, in a lot of those pictures, and kind of like a little bit of the origin of that cold summer. It was interesting if you guys want to check it out on the site. But I've always kind of like rolled my eyes at first at the cold summer, I guess hashtags. For a while there was anything but a cold summer. But we've had some rain.
It's currently 86. It's 86 right now.
Die, so yeah. 86, you said?
86 right now. Yes.
Yeah,
86.
That's not bad for Tuscaloosa, July.
No.
August and Houston's the same way. August is like its own season. That's where it gets like the hottest, So if we can keep it around 80, even low 90s, I'd be, I'll be tweeting out the cold summer if that helps.
Now, are you ready for next week? I don't know if how much practice availability we're going to be able to attend. We'll get some more details a little bit later there. But as far as, are you in condition? Are you ready to go? Because, Nick Saban kind of spoiled us a little bit. We would just wait in the media room and, at some point we're going to be out on that practice field. Are you ready? And it doesn't look like him if they do anything like the spring. We got a limited time, but a lot more than what Coach Saban had given us in the last few years.
Yeah, I think it's always kind of like it always takes me about like a week to really feel ready. Maybe I come in a little bit like mentally pudgy into training camp. If that makes sense. If you compared it to, what Alabama's coming through, maybe I need to shed a few pounds mentally and get back into in-season shape because, it's been a little bit easier. There hasn't been as much demand from a writing standpoint. I'm sure that will change next week and, moving forward. So I'll probably have to get used to that, but I'll be ready. It always, you can get in the swing of things and just the excitement that comes from, getting the season started. I think that's always kind of ramps you up and gets you ready for it.
No, and I know your board is probably, as hot as this radio show is when you look at the conversation. I mean, it's starting to kind of pick up, and I don't feel like we've had a bad off season, but it will get even crazy next week when practice starts and, the media access that we were given with coaches and players and the kind of an all-you-can-eat little buffet of all these different coaches talking and there'll be a lot of content. I know your board's going to be fired up. Take a couple of minutes and promote Tide Illustrated. What are you guys gearing up to cover? Walk through not just yourself, but your team that is part of Rivals.com and Tide Illustrated.
Yeah, well, you mentioned that cookout that Alabama's having. That's going to be a really major event, a big recruiting event. A lot of things happen from those. So we'll have you locked in for the cookout. Jack Milton does a good job with our recruiting. So does our national team of getting some of those guys coming out of the cookout. So make sure to, keep it locked in there. We have our top 40 list of our top 40 most important players. I think, we're getting into the top 15 starting tomorrow. So that'll be, fun to see. You can debate with us on the board of whether we got it right, me and Jack, our top 40 most important players. But that's always a fun thing to do.
When will that be published, did you say?
It's being published this week. I just did 20 through 16 today. We're breaking them in groups of 5. So, we'll have 15 through 11 on Saturday, 10 through 6 on Sunday, and then our top 5 released on Monday.
And that is happening at Tide Illustrated right now, Rivals.com, website covering the University of Alabama. Tony Sakalas, one of the beat reporters, also the managing editor. Tide Illustrated's top 40. If you look down this roster, I don't understand why so many people's doubting, because when you kind of put it out there on paper, this is a talented football team in Tuscaloosa.
It really is. I mean, it was hard to pick, and we did it by most important. So I mean, like some players at positions where I think it's going to be vital that they have success. Obviously they got bumped up. It's really kind of hard to do a top 40 in terms of who's the best. So we tried to, it's always kind of a balance between how you break it up, but there's some tough choices, even going all the way out to 40. There's a lot of players on this team. I think there's a lot of guys that are on the verge of breaking out. That's really what the toughest part is. This team doesn't have the returning star power that some other Alabama teams have had. Like when you look at the mock draft, currently you don't have that many first round players projected in any of these mock drafts. And like you've seen before, sometimes there'll be like 7, projected first rounders. And now it's really just Tyler Booker, and some people don't even have Jalen Milroe as a projected first rounder. I think that's going to change by the end of the year. I think you're going to get, I'm not saying Alabama's going to have 5 or 6 first round picks this year, but there'll be, probably, a handful of players who you'll consider in those, first 2 rounds, first 3 rounds, the day 1, day 2 picks. I would imagine you've got, 5 or 6 guys that will emerge from that group. There's some guys like, Kendrick Laws, somebody I've mentioned before, could break out. Jeremy Bernard could break out. Even, like a Kobe Prentice. I'm just so excited to see like what he can do with his speed in the slot. He's one of the players we talked about in our top 40 already. Just what he can do in this new offense with Kalen DeBoer and how they're going to be able to spread things out. And really, you look at the receivers that Kalen DeBoer produced, he turned out some great ones. You got Rome Odunze doing really well, and Jalen Polk's doing well in New England, and Jalen McMillan. But I think that, when you look from a talent standpoint, the receivers he's inheriting here at Alabama are better than those guys. Now, whether or not they have the same success as the Washington receivers have, that's still to be seen. But, we've seen him do it with people you would say didn't have as much natural talent or weren't as viewed as talented coming out of high school. So let's see what, Kalen DeBoer can do with this receiving core. While it doesn't have that go-to guy, it has a lot of people that you could see Kalen DeBoer turning into a go-to guy and a 1,000-yard receiver. It's going to depend on a lot of things. It's going to depend on Jalen Milroe. It's going to depend on the pass protection. But we really could have an exciting offense with, maybe even multiple 1,000-yard guys if things go right.
There's just so many different areas that when you look at this Alabama football team, is maybe it performs above expectations. Hey, Tony, I appreciate you, man, as always, and I'm going to keep sending people to Tide Illustrated Rivals network of websites, and we'll see you next Wednesday as Alabama's practice opens up number 1. Thank you, man. Appreciate you for being a part of the show. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, anytime, Ryan.
Thank you. Tony Cicala's helping us out, Rivals.com. Great content there. We'll talk to Brent Beard in about 1 hour. We're going to dive into a couple different things. Tua Tagovailoa getting paid, that's certainly of another value. And you think about all these different recruiting incentives, different system, but the same script A. We'll talk about it. T-Town, Tide, 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
To let this moment pass us by.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
DanielMooreArt.com. Daniel Moore Art celebrates those special moments of Alabama football history like 4th and 31, Jalen Milroe connected with Isaiah Bond, or the legacy continues with all the great memories of Alabama Crimson Tide football. You can celebrate Coach Saban with a Nick Saban print, the limited edition canvas. You could also find many of the great mini prints. Celebrate that special Alabama fan in your life. DanielMooreArt.com. The game, that's the code word for a significant discount. And when you check out, tell them that you heard about it right here on the game. DanielMooreArt.com.
Alabama fans are all over the world, and we are too. Download the Tide 100.9 app right now in the App Store and Google Play, and take the Crimson Tide everywhere you go.
Sponsored by Brian Harden Construction. I do remind you about R&R Cigars, 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa. Relax and recharge. Be a great place to enjoy a Friday afternoon. Maybe the Olympics, maybe a little Major League Baseball is on your mind. I know football time. R&R Cigars, 2703 6th Street in downtown Tuscaloosa. We greatly appreciate them for being a part of our show. And let's continue. We're going to take phone calls coming up here in just a couple seconds, and we're going to get to those starting with Paul in Lincoln. Paul, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Embrace the suck, Ryan.
How you spell that?
S-A-U-C-K.
S-A-U-C-K. Got it. What does the AU stand for?
You got it. That would stand for the Auburn Tigers.
Okay.
The Lee County Tigers, Ryan.
The no attention grabbing Lee Tigers. Not very good Lee Tigers.
The Zero Buzz, Zero Energy program. A program that I absolutely hate to share the same state with. I will say that. They don't deserve to be in the state of Alabama. I'll just put that out there as well.
I think I had to pick it up.
They're not worthy.
Or we're going to take one of those Brian Harden cranes and kind of just pick up Lee County and move them over to Georgia. So
I was going to say, is there any way that we can have some surveyors go down there and try to push them as close to Columbus, Georgia as we can?
I think it would be an option. Just anything to get them out of the state of Alabama.
because they don't represent the state well, Ryan. Would you agree with that?
No, they don't. No, they don't. I mean, we're a standard around here. We're all about championships. We're all about domination, not about losing programs.
That's right. Exactly. Ryan, I tell you, I'm so happy that Tua is getting paid. I mean, he has taken a lot of heat.
He has
since the time he left the University of Alabama, and I'm glad that he stuck with it, and it's paid off for him. And I was wondering, Ryan, is $53 million, is that inflation proof? The shape that Oatmeal Joe and Kamala's got this country in right now. Is $53 million a year? I think he's pretty safe, don't you?
Well, it's probably a little bit better than most of us. $9 gallon of milk's not going to impact him much. $5 loaf of bread and a $70 bag of dog food. He's going to be okay. But I was told on Twitter that earlier this week that I had it all wrong. That this is one of the greatest presidents in the history of our country. So, and I never even said anything. It's just like they know the talking points, so they're memorized.
Well, they're falling right in line.
Well, they don't have a choice. I mean, you either
they don't. Well, now that Barack Hussein Obama and Michael Obama, now that those two have endorsed Kamala, there's probably about a 90% chance that she will be the Democratic nominee going forward.
Yeah, but listen, they can, and look here, Paul, get me on the daggum first caller. I mean, I knew it was coming. I mean, it's. I mean, here it is. First caller out of the gate. On a free-for-all Friday. But they cannot deny the fact that they were embarrassed of this laughing hyena, okay? They hid her for over 3 years, and now they're going to walk her out and go, hey, we're still here.
Exactly. I mean, she's joined at the hip with Oatmeal Joe. There's no doubt about it. They're trying their best right now to clean her up. I mean, the media has done a complete mea culpa, and they're trying their best to clean this clown up. They're going to do whatever it takes. But we are so over the mainstream media. The mainstream media is one of the most dangerous, most radical, most hazardous effects on this country in the last 10, 15 years. They're as bad as anything going right now is this mainstream media, because they will lie to your face, and they have no problem with lying to your face whatsoever. This country, this federal government, and I'll lap the media in with all of it. It is so weaponized right now. It's unbelievable. But it's all intentional. It is all intentional. Nothing happens by chance. Now you've got the FBI director, Chris Wray, is not sure whether Donald J. Trump was hit by a bullet or glass or some sort of shrapnel. This is insane. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks since it happened. 2 weeks, and you're still saying, or you're either being told to say that you don't know whether it was a bullet or not. I mean, this is absolutely insane. But it's not surprising. It's not surprising whatsoever. Ryan, this is the most dangerous time in our history right now. We're about 3 months from the election, and I'm telling you, this is the most dangerous time for this country is right now.
Did you happen to hear Piano Man yesterday from Hattiesburg, Mississippi?
No, I didn't.
Oh, man.
I didn't.
Yeah, he walked away with the caller of the week so far. Man, wow. Strong.
That's good.
Strong. And, just like I told him, he said, we were talking about it, and he said, it was nice to hear some of the refreshing comments. And I said, well, I don't think we can afford to be quiet anymore.
No, you can't. You can't. You cannot be silent anymore. You cannot, and I will not. I will not. I signed up for Trump Force 47 last week, I'm getting my act together. I'm not going to be silent because we cannot listen. It is the most dangerous point in our history. I'm telling you, I really believe that. And the effects, if it goes the other way, would be catastrophic. If it goes the other way, Ryan, it would be absolutely catastrophic to our way of life. It will. So I'm not going to be quiet. I can guarantee you that. But anyway, I thought I'd just get that a little bit off my chest. But really, as Patriots, and I know the majority of your audience, they are Patriots. We kind of think the same way. May not agree with everything, but we can't be silent, man. I know this is a sports talk show, and I love talking sports. I love talking Alabama football. But as important as this upcoming football season is, with a new coach, a new brand, a new version of Alabama football with Coach DeBoer and his staff, this election is so much more important than Alabama football. And I hate to say that, but that's just the times that we're living in right now. And we got to treat it like that. We've got to treat it like that.
So, Paul, looking at Alabama Crimson Tide football, I mean, this time next week we'll have a few practices under our belt, and we'll start to get a little bit of content, and we'll see exactly, where this offense kind of matches up. Begin to kind of look at, say, because the spring is all about experiments, and then it'll be trying to dial this thing in and get ready. I mean, you're going to blink and the season will be here. I mean, you're 36 days away, and when practice suits up, at that point it'll be about 30 days away. So.
This is an uber talented football team, Ryan.
Well, and with Tony's work on this top 40, you start going through it and you're like, I don't know how people overlook this team.
Exactly. This roster is chock full of 4- and 5-star talent. Still, even with what we lost after the season last year, whether graduation, the NFL draft, or portal transfers. This is still a dangerous football team. I mean, I'm thinking it no worse than a top 5 roster in all of college football. I mean, just go right down the roster, and I think in some spots we've probably upgraded. I know we've upgraded on the coaching staff. There's no doubt in my mind about that. That's my opinion. Other than Coach Saban, and I'm certainly not. Listen, Coach Saban deserves every amount of praise he has ever gotten and will get because of what he did with his football program when he arrived and what he did when he was here. But overall, this coaching staff, in my opinion, is light years ahead of what we had the past 2 seasons under Coach Saban. And I'm excited, very excited to see this new offense be implemented because, like I said, we are talented at the right spots on offense. We've got depth. I'd like to have a little bit more depth along the offensive line, but the pieces that we have there are uber talented, like I said. I think the receiving core is going to be a lot better than what some people think. I think they're going to be a lot better than what Corey, the pastor Payne, thinks. I know he kind of takes shots at them.
He takes shots at the wide receivers?
Yeah, he does. And that's fine. That's his opinion. I have no problem whatsoever with someone's opinion
I think the receivers were talented last year, but our offense did not feature them. We wasted a lot of talent last year.
We did. And I think this new system, the Kalen DeBoer system, the Nick Sheridan system, Jamarcus Shepard, coaching the wide receivers. I mean, I think that it's going to be all hands on deck, and I'm really looking forward to watching this offense. And I'm telling you what, I know the defense kind of lags behind the offense in some circles, especially in the media. But along the defensive front, we're strong. We've got depth. We've got experience. Even at the second level, the linebackers. We're certainly in the middle with Jihad Campbell and Deontay Lawson. We've got 2 studs there. The outside people, Keon Keeley, some of the young guys that we really hadn't got a good look at yet. Maybe we did in the spring in the A-Day, but I'm excited about what they're going to bring to the table because they are super, super talented. Jordan Renaud is another one. But even with a secondary, Ryan, I think I know they get probably the least amount of pub, but that's a talented group as well. I mean, they're certainly young. Don't get me wrong. They're very, very young. But you got Malachi Moore at one safety, Keon Saab at the other one, who's got a lot of experience with Michigan. So don't sell this team short, Ryan. I know you're not, and I know a lot of folks on the show don't. But
yeah, well, I mean, you got an option.
Still a big talented football team.
Well, and you have an option. Doubt today, look foolish tomorrow. So you can, not you, but others. They can doubt today, and they can eat crow. We've ordered an 18-wheeler full of frozen crow. We've parked it over at Mark's Mark. We appreciate those guys for being a parking spot for us. But we're going to be serving up that great crow. I mean, it's an option. Frozen crow, baked crow, boiled crow, dry crow, any of it.
Any way you want it.
So.
Any way you want it, buddy.
Hey, Paul, always appreciate you, man, for being a part of our show. And, hey, listen now, we're going to be doing that grand prize drawing coming up in that 5 o'clock hour. So, it's as long as Kirby doesn't have a player that wants to break over here and steal our stuff, we're okay.
Well, G. Kirby is as far away from that grand prize package as you can, Ryan.
Well, I mean, Kirby's started to grow. He's getting a little bit of a problem here, man. Kirby's. This is becoming more of a culture.
Oh yeah.
And they don't play Western Kentucky. I know we do, but I'm just saying they don't play Western Kentucky, Western Carolina, Kent State. They play Clemson that first game. So can Kirby afford to be a disciplinary? No, he can't.
Yeah. Well. It's going to be interesting to see that. They certainly did have to take a step up in the schedule this year. So, but I tell you, it's been a very bad off season for Kirby. Really not just. I mean, this is it kind of started to develop a pattern over there, and he better put the lid on it, or it's he's going to be known as a rogue program, and it looks like that's what he's got right now. Because he's all kind of problems over there.
He's challenging Urban Meyer for the most off-season arrest. He said, "Hold on, I got 30 more days, man. I got 30 more days. Surely I can break this record." He's challenging it. Hey, Paul, appreciate you, man, as always.
All right, buddy. Roll Tide, roll MAGA.
There we go. Paul in Lincoln helping us out there. It's a free-for-all Friday sponsored by Brian Hard Construction. I do remind you about The Wharf. If you're looking for a new pair of jeans, Wrangler, Levi Lee, you'll find those. If you're looking for a new pair of boots, Justin, Tony Lama, Red Wing, Georgia, Double H, Timberline, Laredo. Go over and see my friends Mark and Lee. All the Under Armour clothing, Rocky clothing, Carhartt clothing. The great options, 1976. You'll find them between Elgron and also the Blue Plate. Winn-Dixie Shopping Center right there. It's our good friends at The Wharf. Since 1976, the Working Western headquarters for the entire family. We roll on. First hour in the books. Second hour starts in 3 minutes. T-Town Tide 100.9. 1230 WTBC. Your home.
You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text support to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Byer.
The Miami Dolphins and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa have agreed on a 4-year extension worth $212.4 million. Tua will get a reported $167 million in guarantees as part of the deal. His annual salary breaks down to $53.1 million per season when it goes into effect in the 2025-2026 season. Again, multiple reports saying Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins agreeing on a 4-year extension. The opening ceremony is underway for the 2024 Summer Olympics Olympics in Paris, while the Denver Nuggets and Russell Westbrook have agreed on a 2-year deal worth $6.8 million. That includes a player option for the second year. A trade in baseball as the Philadelphia Phillies have acquired outfielder Austin Hayes in a deal from the Baltimore Orioles. On the PGA Tour, Matt Neese.
Got it. And it's only $5. Let's get your favorite Good and Gather snacks. They're now at a new lower price.
Best team ever. When it comes to low prices, Target has your back to school.
Dos Amigos, Highway 69 in the new Publix Shopping Center. 11 a.m. opening, 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday closing at 9, Sunday through Thursday. Some great Mexican cuisine, the great fajitas, the great desserts, the great lunch specials. You'll find it at Dos Amigos in the Publix Shopping Center on Highway 69. Takeout orders.
Or text DEAL to 511-511.
Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
Every Friday here on The Game is always powered by Brian Harden Construction, industrial contractors and fabrication, laser cutting, CNC machines, reverse engineering, experience you can count on. Let's build something together. BHardenConst.com, and we're looking for people to become a part of our winning team. Structural welders, pipe fitters, you'll find those at Brian Harden Construction. Let them guide you, and if they're not able to help you, they can guide you in the right direction. It's Brian Harden Construction every Friday, made possible by Brian Harden Construction here on The Game on Tide 100.9.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A warm, humid afternoon. A few scattered showers and thunderstorms around through tonight. The high today 87, the low tonight 74. Tomorrow, partly sunny. The chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms by afternoon. The high 89. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. She loves to laugh, she loves to sing, she does everything. She loves to move, she loves to groove, she loves a lot of things. All night, oh, every night. So hold tight, ooh baby, hold tight. Oh, she said, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. She said, any way you want it, that's the way you need it.
All right, we welcome you to a free-for-all Friday presented by Brian Harden Construction. We had Tony Sakalas earlier. We'll talk to Brent Beard later this hour. Right now, we're taking your phone calls, 205-342-9904. We are always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyline Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. Let's continue, and we go here to Robert in Mobile. Robert, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Hey, man.
How are you, Robert?
Hey, I hadn't given much thought to players sitting out of the last game, like the Iron Bowl and whatnot.
I haven't either, but it that's what the NFL does, right? I mean, the NFL does it because you play so many games. And if you're a fantasy football player, you usually shut it down like the finals are week 15 and 16, because if you're already in, you've already kind of locked up your position. It is something to think about.
Yeah. I think I saw one of you guys' website where somebody wrote an article about will Jalen Milroe play in the Iron Bowl?
And here's what it was. He was asked that question on ESPN yesterday, and he pretty much said, "No, we got to finish. We got to finish. We got to finish." But the other element of it is, what if you get there and you're a little bit beat up? You got a little bit of bumps and bruises. You got a little injury, maybe a little something nagging you that you want to. Okay, let me go shut it down a little bit. Let me go and get rested because, Robert, I'll spin it back to you. What's more important, winning a national title or beating Auburn in the Iron Bowl?
Well, I can't see where not winning the Iron Bowl, your last game of your season, won't impact your position somehow. Either to get in or to be in a certain spot once you're in. So I can't see a scenario where not winning it won't put you in the place you probably less of an advantageous place if you had won it. Whether you could be the number one seed if you win there, then you win the SEC championship game, or I think conference champion is probably how is this going to work? The conference champions, I guess the number 1 and number 2 seed gets by on the number 1 and number 2, right?
It's actually the top 4 will get a bye.
Oh, well, okay, there you go. You can still.
But let's say you're a number 1 team, or let's say that you're not in that top 4. That you're like, there's no way I'm in this top 4, but I know I'm a playoff team. Do you play with fire?
Yeah, because if you're not in the top 4, it doesn't matter what your position is. It doesn't.
Right.
I mean, nobody gets a home game, right?
No.
And nobody gets home
okay,
game,
the
right?
first. Okay, so take in your mind and eliminate the 4.
Right.
Do the 4. Take the 4 out, and you got those for bye games. Okay. The next 4 will host that first round.
Okay. Well, then there you go. You don't want to lose it because you may lose that home field advantage. So I can't see where you could. I can't see a scenario where you can say we can lose the Iron Bowl and it not hurt someplace. So I don't see how you can ever sit out. There'll be you'll be hurt somewhere. You lose a home field, or you lose your bye week where you could have been number 1 or one of the top 4. One of those scenarios will come into play, especially for a team like Alabama. Now, if you're just a barely borderline team, barely in, you'll probably get bounced in the first week anyway. Yeah, you probably would sit out your players.
Just something to kind of think about. I mean, you're sitting there in the back of your mind. Not that but go into the conversation with the SEC title game. That's another one.
Yeah. You might sit that out. But no, you still wouldn't want to. Man, there's just no reason for playing that title game anymore. There just isn't anything.
Well, and Robert, I'm right there with you. But it's money. It's money. That's why that title game is not going anywhere. But if you kind of look through the lineup and you say, okay, you got 12 regular season games. Okay, so you've got the 12 regular season games. Well, then you go, okay, what if you're not one of those teams that earn a bye week? Well, let's say you play in the SEC title game. Let's just hypothetically say that you get beat. Then you go into the format and you say, all right, do you play 13 game, which would be the conference game? Then you could play the first round games, then the quarterfinals, then the semifinals, then the national title. That's a lot of football.
Did they go with the conference champions getting automatic bids?
No.
Did they go with that or what?
No.
Then they've completely lost the reason to play conference championship games then.
So your 12 would play a 5, your 5 would be hosting, a 9 would play an 8, the 8 would be hosting, 11 would play a 6, the 6 would be hosting, a 10 would play a 7, 7 would be hosting, as long as they have a stadium that is capable of doing that, which most teams you would think would have that. I think it's one of the reasons why Alabama installed some new facilities and kind of put that heating mat.
They should pay those players for playing those conference championship games. I mean, there has to be something in it for them to play the conference championship game. Okay, could you slip them some money? Some reason. College football, they always do this.
Well, and not only do you have to do it the way that we're talking about, but you also, that dead period that you used to have in December, it's no longer there.
Yeah.
So
it's all these extra games, and they were fine if you're paying the players, which I was always for. I mean, if you want to pay all these, it's paying the playoffs and have all these extra games, and it's time to start paying these guys for playing them. Especially the conference championship game. Right now, there's just no incentive for it. I'm not so sure how all out they're going to be going to win it anymore. The conference championship game. It's going to, at least in the past, with only 14 playoffs, that conference championship, especially with the SEC, kind of was almost a play-in game, or at least guaranteed that you can make the playoffs. Now you don't even have that advantage for it anymore.
Okay, so let's just look ahead. Okay, this year the Iron Bowl will be on November the 30th. The SEC title game will be on December the 7th. You will start your first playoff game on the 20th, so you could actually play less than 2 weeks later. So you're coming off of a grind of a season if you play in this SEC. You're going through 12 regular season games, 13 with a conference title game if you make it. And then if you win or lose, you could possibly be playing on December the 20th. So
Now,
the
again,
7th is the
with the-
championship game. The SEC title game would be played on December the 7th, and then less than 2 weeks later, you could be played on a Friday night on the 20th.
Most likely the loser would be at the SEC.
That's what I'm saying,
championship game.
yeah.
That could definitely happen. That right?
Yeah.
The loser, the winner most likely will be playing for a top 4 seed.
You would hope.
So
You
that's
would hope.
going to apply to them.
And so that.
Oh, the SEC.
Well,
I'm
and I'll
sorry,
be curious to see how this all works its way out, and we'll see if any of those first 4 rounds, that first round, if you truly like, will our champion come from those teams, or will it come from the teams that got that bye? How important is that bye? I think it's huge, because the flip side of that, if you look at and the stupid Rose Bowl, I'm so sick of the Rose Bowl. I'm so sick of their attitude. You have a dump of a stadium. Okay, it is not a good venue. It's out of date. It's history. But you want to throw around your power, and you want to say no. We're only going to play on this date. We're not going to play on any other dates. If you don't like it, we're not just going to set the date. We're going to set the time. We were there. It's cool to be in the venue. It's fun to be at the venue, but it's there's not a lot there that you can push your power other than to say that you're the granddaddy of it all. So
That'll wear off after a while, you know. I mean,
it does. I mean,
it's just another stadium to me, us here in Alabama.
Well, I mean, like I said, it was fun to go out there, but I mean, are you really going to tell your players that it's an incentive to go to LA and step over homeless people and druggies and shots? I mean, is that really a trip that you want to sell? Hey, come on, man, we're going to put you in the Rose Bowl. You want to live with the population that's out in LA? I mean, because trust me, when you walked out of the team hotel, you didn't go out there. I mean, I don't care if you're football player, non-football player. You did the 2 thing. You wanted to go out there with a teammate because it was right there around the team hotel. Both teams. Whew, man.
That's just and they want to spread that kind of politics to the rest of the country. Yeah, that would be really great. Hey, change gears real quick since Paul did it first. So I didn't start this. The degree that I would have to turn my brain off in order to be a Democrat supporter is just beyond. It's mind-boggling. You want me to go along with you voted for Biden in the primaries. But because it looks like he's going to lose, because you won't admit that he's got cognitive decline, so therefore you have to admit that he's just a quitter and couldn't win. And he doesn't think he's a quitter, but your party, the people who run your party, thinks he's a quitter. So therefore he's got to be kicked to the curb and install this person that nobody voted for, has never won a single primary in her life, but she's going to be your front runner now. Because why? Well, we just don't think this guy could win. Even though the Democrat voters voted for him. Now, the Republican side, hey, the party establishment didn't want Donald Trump, but the voters voted him in. So, therefore, we got our way. We got our will, despite the party bigwig not wanting him. That's democracy. What you all got is, I don't know what you got. It ain't democracy, but I guess you're a little happy with that. Now, if you want to get off the crazy train and want to I want to reconnect your brains again, hey, the Trump train has plenty of room. Get on the Trump train, and you don't have to go along with crazy of the Democrat Party or the party of mud democracy acting undemocratic when it comes to the candidate.
Let me tell you what I think. A lot of not all, but a lot of Democrats are not willing to say. I think I've told the story a million times about my mom. She was a lifelong Democrat, and she used to tell me all the time that they left me, I didn't leave them. And my mom at least had enough sense to say, this is not the same party that I supported, through the majority of my life. They left me. I didn't leave them. But a lot of people will not admit that they were wrong, that this party is not what it used to be. It's not for the working class. It's not for the minorities. It's completely opposite. And I loved yesterday with Piano Man. I'm not sure if you heard him, but man, he brought a lot to the table from Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
No, I didn't get his.
Man, he was good. Strong opinions. So he said, I'm not voting for Kamala. And he said, listen, I know that I'm trying to think how he said it, but he said, I'm a male and I'm a black male. And I know it's automatic that I'm supposed to vote for Kamala, but she's not getting my vote. And I was just the way he explained it. It was pretty confident.
Is there a way to hear it on your show again? Is there a way to listen to it?
Yeah, I mean, we archive it. We archive it, and I don't know what time he called. But man, like I said, he brought a lot. He got a lot of what I was traveling around yesterday evening. I got quite a few text messages from PN.
Well, they forced out a candidate. They committed a coup against Joe Biden. That's the only thing, an explanation for it. It was a coup. He didn't want to leave. His party forced him out. And now they went along with the lie that he didn't have cognitive decline. Kamala was saying he was fine when everybody with a brain could see he wasn't. And you continue to gaslight it. Now you won't make him, okay, if he's not strong enough to be run for president, why is he still president? But you're not going to answer those questions because you won't be asked because the slime ball media, no offense, Brian. No offense, Ryan. but slime ball media.
You don't offend me, brother. It
won't tell the truth on it. And Paul was right about another thing, too, that Ray Clown, who wants to go along with the conspiracy theory that Trump wasn't shot in the ear. We all got eyes. They're like we don't have eyes and brains. We saw the teleprompters. None of them were hit. The idea that he didn't get hit with a bullet is the most ridiculous thing that they could ever utter. But keep on going along with it. Hey, Democrat, the Trump train still has room if you're tired of going along with crazy. All right, man.
Hey, Robert, thank you, man. We appreciate the phone call. We'll continue with more of those phone calls. We've got a Brent Beard coming up in a little bit later this show. We'll take more of your phone calls coming up. It is a free-for-all Friday sponsored by Brian Hard Construction. I do remind you about the Standard Pizza. It is thestandardbama.com, home of the 20-inch pizza pie, pepperoni, meat lovers, cheese. Design your own. The Standard. Down on the University Boulevard, you'll find them right there. DoorDash is always an option. Full-service restaurant. They got wings, boneless wings, cheese sticks, mac and cheese bites. You'll find all different types of pizzas, and you can have a full-service restaurant, carry out, or have it delivered via DoorDash. TheStandardBama.com, TheStandardBama.com. We are now 5 days away from Alabama Crimson Tide practice number 1 and about 36 days away from Alabama Crimson Tide football, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union. We'll take more of your phone calls. JR, get ready. We're coming to you next. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
Federal, state, local, and weather service officials are meeting in Greensboro today to discuss a gap in weather radar in West Alabama and how to fill that gap. Pickens County officials have scheduled a meeting Thursday, August 15th at the Pickens County Service Center in Carrollton. State and local elected officials will meet to determine a way forward in getting at least the emergency room for the closed Pickens County Medical Center reopened. Northport residents opposed to the University Beach Resort have filed a suit against the city claiming a
Experience the wow factor. Contact Shoot Masonry and Specialties at 205-887-3807 today and unleash your home's full potential.
The game is powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. David DeSantis, the largest selection of new Toyotas in over 3 years, can be found on Skyline Boulevard, 3325 Skyline Boulevard. Also a nice inventory of pre-owned inventory. You can find the new Tundra, the 2024, the Tacoma two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. How about a new 4Runner, Highlander, RAV4, Camry, Corolla? For those outside of Tuscaloosa, saved money by driving to Tuscaloosa and buying here with a great tax rate. Customer service is a priority at Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. For over 5 years in our community in downtown Northport under that Roll Tide Bridge, Mark's Mark, the home of the chicken swirl. You'll find that since 1978 in Selma, Alabama, for over 5 years in downtown Northport. If you want to dominate the grill today or any day, find Mark's Mark. A great stop by on your way home. If you're preparing for dinner, they've got a lot of those gourmet dishes that you can find, the great casseroles, the dips, the appetizers, the great steaks, the pork chops, the burgers, and all the supplies you need to dominate the grill. It's Mark's Mark for over 5 years in downtown Northport and since 1978 in Selma, Alabama. Mark's Mark, home of the Chicken Swirl.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A warm, humid afternoon. A few scattered showers and thunderstorms around through tonight. The high today 87, the low tonight 74. Tomorrow, partly sunny. The chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms by afternoon. The high 89. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
The best station in the state, breaking down Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
A singer in a smoky room, a smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard. Their shadows searching in the night. Streetlights, people, living just to find emotion, hiding somewhere in the working hard to get my fill. Everybody wants a thrill, paying anything to roll the
Welcome you
dice.
right back into the game here in Tuscaloosa. Tide at 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. Let's go to JR in Coker, Alabama. JR, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well, man.
Oh, okay. All right. I just heard you the other day when I called. I hung up. I started listening. You were talking some smack about me.
No. What did I say?
Otto, you said you were going to ban me from calling.
Did I say that?
Well, you said you said something about being stupid.
No, I don't think I said that, JR.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now, hold on. You said you called in with Ja'Cory Brooks.
I called in and said something about Ja'Cory Brooks, and because I have not been keeping up with everything like I usually do this year, and I mistakenly said, "Could you ask for a name of somebody you thought would be a standout, would be a surprise, come out player?" And I just said something that came to mind. Anyway, it was stupid. So I was just kidding. I don't care. I'm just picking at you.
Okay, but I don't remember calling you stupid though. I don't remember that one.
Well, listen. I was switching. I was listening to you on the app. I call you, from listening to the app, and so I have to click off the phone and then click back on to the app to listen to you. So there was a gap there, and I might have misunderstood you.
JR, you've always struggled with that app. Because I remember one time you called in, and this has been 3 or 4 years ago, and you're like, "Well, I'm hearing it twice. What's going on?" I don't, and maybe this is a question for the callers, but I don't think that happens to other people.
I remember that. Happened.
Because you were accusing our producer. You're like, "Man, this producer has got to be, he's feeding me something in my ear." And I'm like,
well, I remember I said echo. I said, I'm hearing an echo, like I'm hearing myself. I'll say something and it'd come out. I'd hear it right after I said it. That's happened to me even on my sister's phone. When I call her, she has this landline, though. I don't know if y'all have landlines. And they have a thing on there where it has a speaker where it speaks out loud where you don't have to have the phone in your hand. And every time she does that, I have an echo. So I have to tell her to hang that thing up, put your phone on your head. Because, yeah. But anyway, that's no biggie. Hey, I heard a little something this morning from the Sanders from the locker room.
It's not true.
And it what?
It's not true.
What isn't true?
I'm just teasing. I was going to say, if they said it, it ain't true. I'm just kidding. What did they say?
Well, it was just a thought. It wasn't. He was actually kind of like a suggestion, but it's pertaining to the portal, the transfer portal, and he said there ought to be a limit to how many you can take every year. Every team can only have so many. Like, I can't remember what he said. Football 12, basketball so many, or whatever. He came up with a little number. I agree, because that's one of the beefs I have with college football is it's too much of the portal, changes the whole game. I mean, just it isn't right. And then, of course, the NIL, I'm objective to that as well. At least the way they've done it. They just kind of, and they curtailed it down some. It helps, but I'm just not really a big fan of that. I think paying a college player money is just I think that's why Saban retired. I mean, it wasn't the whole reason he retired, but it was the straw that broke the camel's back when they started doing that.
I think it was too. I think it was too. I think it was. That was one that his heart wasn't in it. His heart wasn't in it.
Right.
It's not that he couldn't do it. He didn't.
Well, it took a lot of the passion out of the game when he couldn't. Coach up a player, and next thing you know, they're gone.
Well, I think if we were honest, I think NIL has taken a little bit of passion away from college football.
Of course it has. I mean,
because it's no longer, hey, that guy's an Alabama guy. He may be here today, gone tomorrow. And that's why you're seeing a lot of your coaches out here that are not willing.
They're not willing. Players that have left us already this last year. That one of them that's over in Texas, we're going to have to play when we go over there this year. And we do play Texas this year. I'm out here. I go saying something dumb again. We are playing Texas this year, right?
We are not.
Okay, we do not.
JR,
all right, well, stand through.
Okay. All right.
I need to come over there and you give me a poster with all the schedule on it and everything.
We're gonna have to help you, JR. I don't know. I mean, it's there's a magazine that you can find. What's your favorite grocery store?
Publix.
Okay, all right. Yeah, me and you both. It's a high place to shop, JR. It's but Publix is. But you can find all your stuff. Okay, but. JR, there's a magazine rack in there. And go in there and get you a Lindy's or a Athlon's or a Phil Steele. And that needs to be your...
And usually Alabama's right on the front page of this thing.
They are. On the cover. I'm looking at 3 of them right now. You got Jalen Milroe is, I think, on all 3 covers. He is. Yeah, he is. So
that's great. Yeah. I mean, I really believe he's going to be the come-out player. Last year he was a little bit subdued. I just don't know if he's got the running, the run play option. Wait a minute, what is that? I don't know if he's got that run pass option thing down pat. Maybe he's improved on it, but he just seems a little reluctant to throw the ball when he needs to get rid of it sooner. And he also needs to be able to recognize that he's fixing to get sacked. There's nobody open. Throw the ball away.
Well, it starts with a center getting in the football, right? I mean, Parker.
Oh, that's true. There was a lot of hiccups in that last year for sure. The center was up, throwing it a little high and low, and and it did kind of take a little bit of the rhythm out of the play they were, playing, and that sometimes just a split second change.
This just in, according to Anthony Dasher, which is UGAsports.com, he's covering Georgia. No, Anthony. He is saying, providing with a team source, Georgia wide receiver Ra Thomas has been suspended indefinitely by head coach Kirby Smart. So, but see, this is the chance. Okay, you suspend him. What does he do? He hits that portal.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
players now have all the control.
Really, see, that's exactly part of what I was I'm saying. I mean, a coach can't really discipline a player like they used to, really chew them out when they've done something wrong, or because they run the risk that, hey, they don't like that and they're going to transfer somewhere else. Or they don't play him like he wants to. Maybe there's a couple players better than him out there on the field, and that's why he's not playing as much. But he doesn't want to daggone wait. In some cases, I don't blame them. They get more exposure the more they play. And in Alabama, we stack up the deck, and that's you run the risk of players, leaving because you got a lot of good players in one position. You can't play them all. As far as starters, and so, but anyway, but the disciplinary part of it, it just seems like it puts a chokehold on the coach from being able to discipline his players like he would normally want to do.
I think that's a fair comment. Hey, JR, I got to get to the break, man. I appreciate you as always.
Okay, buddy, good to talk with you, and I missed out on whatever this contest you got drawing at 5. You just need to let me know.
Yeah, we'll definitely let you know, but you're not in it. Sorry about that. So.
I know that. I know. I missed out. All right, talk to you later, man. Roll Tide.
Thanks, JR. I think JR was trying to buy an entry. That's what it sounded like to me. He was wanting to buy an entry. No way. It's score prediction and parlay picks from last year. We will draw a grand prize coming up. Brent Beard joins us next. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Or find us on Facebook, Andrew Kniffer Agency. Once again, you can reach us at 205-722-9201. Allstate, are you in good hands?
Alabama Credit Union with the official countdown to Alabama Crimson Tide football right here on the game, alabamacu.com. The mobile app saves a lot of time. The mobile deposits, checking, savings, mortgage, home equity loan, financing a vehicle, the great competitive rates. Alabama Credit Union with great branches all over West Alabama and throughout the state of Alabama. Alabama Credit Union, alabamacu.com.
Where the legends of Alabama football hang out.
McCarron, draw play. Lacey, huge hole.
Touchdown, yep.
Alabama touchdown.
The Game with Ryan Fowler. Your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. If you're looking for a great dinner special, this evening they got coffee rub, prime rib, the smoked pork chop. You'll find that. Chicken Parmesan pasta is an option. And if you look at dinner tomorrow, they are also bringing back the prime rib, the smoked pork chop, and the chicken Parmesan. And they'll also add Baja Blackened Mahi over pimento grits. Those are options, lunch and dinner options Monday through Saturday. Lunch and dinner, and also do not leave there without having some of that great lemon blueberry poppy seed bread pudding. That is the featured bread pudding of the week. You can always find the cheesecake. You can always find the bacon wrapped meatloaf, the fish and taters, the biscuit sandwiches, all that Southern cuisine. Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. Also catering from a smaller event to a larger corporate event. 205-248-7500, 205-248-7500. It is Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. Let's go to Brent Beard. Brent Beard, you can find him on great radio stations like this one. You can also find him at First Coast News, Jacksonville, Florida, ABC, NBC News affiliate. Brent Beard, how are you, my friend? Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Well, we've got power and internet back after a storm, so for what you and I do, that's a win-win, isn't it?
Yes, and you don't realize how you appreciate internet until it's gone for just a couple of minutes.
Look, that's exactly right. We're just so dependent on it now, and especially for what we do. But it is back, and the great thing about it is we are a few days away from our college football teams being back. FSU and Georgia Tech already practicing because of their game that's coming up on week 0. Bama will be on the field next week. It's a very undervalued time, but people sometimes don't understand that listen, Ryan, we'll know more those first 2 days of practice probably than we've known the last 3 to 6 months.
It's a fair comment because you'll have some kind of rotation, even though they don't want to admit it. There's going to be somewhat of a depth chart, and we don't know if Kalen DeBoer is going to be one of those guys. I mean, Nick Saban. You ask about a depth chart, man, he would go crazy on you. I mean, heck, Kalen DeBoer may roll out first day and hand us a piece of paper for all. I mean, we're all learning, right? We're learning about what his tendencies and what does he want to do and what does he not want to do.
Yeah. Well, and look, I would not, we can laugh about that now, but knowing DeBoer and how he has cooperated with the media, I mean, would you be that shocked, Ryan, if he actually came out with a makeshift depth chart and with the knowledge that it will be updated later on?
Listen, I can go to any NFL website. I can log on to their official website and go to the team. I can go to the Jacksonville Jaguars right there in your town. Yeah. They got a depth chart listed right there. Does it really do any damage to your program?
No. Look, the program's not going to collapse if you provide one, is it, Ryan?
It is not. So, but all these coaches, it's almost like, and I'm going to tell you why they did it. You know why they did it? Because Nick Saban did it. And they thought everything he did, they were going to follow suit. And, you know what? He's got the media blocks out of practice. Well, we're going to do that too. And it's almost like these coaches chose to go this Nick Saban route. It was a few years ago when Nick Saban quit going to Radio Row for SEC Media Days. How many other coaches that were part of his system will not go to Radio Row?
Well, but the understanding here, and I know a lot of folks don't care about this who are driving along McFarland Boulevard right now, but what they need to understand is when there is no information provided to the media, that means the fans aren't getting anything either. So the more that SIDs and coaches understand that you can get their message out and also the stories about their player, everybody wins in a situation like that, don't they, Ryan?
They do. Anthony Dasher is reporting, according to his source, he is saying that Ra Thomas has been suspended. Did Kirby make the right move? And, it's that transfer portal that's there. You can always go there. I guess that's always an option. So Ra Thomas, according to Anthony Dasher, has been suspended indefinitely.
Well, Anthony Dasher would know that.
Sure.
I mean, he's one of these guys that's plugged in at UGA Sports. Ryan, something's got to happen there in order to get somebody's attention. Look, there is nothing safe. There's nothing smart about all the. They've had. I believe this is the 25th arrest, or something close to that, since 2023. And at some point, someone's got to be made an example of, and particularly when you've got domestic violence there that just simply cannot be tolerated. And again, we don't know the sides of this. This could be a he said, she said. We just don't know at this point. But that's a safe thing to do. Frankly, is if you get involved in something like this and it is accurate, you have got to be away from the program at least for a time.
And that's one of those topics that we get into. Brent, 85 to 105, you like it?
Good question. I think so. I think what I like more probably is what, and I know you caught this, but probably immediately, is what it does to some of the other sports, particularly baseball, right, Ryan?
It's a big number.
Baseball has been begging for years to have more scholarships. I know we've got NIL now, but look, I have 22 more scholarships is something that's been needed for baseball for years. In the other sports, I mean, softball is plus 13, volleyball is plus 6. Now, what I do wonder is, and I'm not sure we know the answer to this, is if you've got 105 players, remember, we used to have about, what, Ryan, 20 more walk-ons? Unless you've heard something about that, I'm really kind of wondering what direction they go with walk-ons.
Well, and if you're a coach, yeah, it's going to cost you an extra 20 scholarships. But I guess my question is, for the big boy teams, why would you not?
Yeah.
I mean, like if you've got 20 extra scholarships, would you rather have a preferred walk-on, or let's say a 2 or 3 star that you can see some potential there? I'm not saying that recruits don't have walk-ons, don't, because many of them choose to come to Alabama when they've got other offers at other places. But if you're sitting there with 20 scholarships, will you get as many walk-ons? I don't think there's a way that you do.
Yeah. Yeah, and coaches want something, and I think there'll be a compromise as far as walk-ons are concerned. And again, Ryan, the other thing is that that some of this has yet to be playing out is with NIL. I mean, I'm not going to say that scholarships aren't valuable anymore, because I've always thought that they were valuable. But with guys able to pay their own way, the obvious question with this, and we don't know this yet, is how is that part going to work out?
And that's the world that we live in. I mean, trying to figure out exactly what the next move is. And, we were we were talking about this, Jalen Milroe was asked the question up in ESPN. He was asked the question about, would you set out the Iron Bowl? And, it seems like an overreaction. No, come on, he's not going to set out the Iron Bowl. Well, Brent, we see it all the time in the the NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
That week 16 and 17, if you've got your spot locked up, you shut it down. And you get ready for will we see that in the world of college? Not just Alabama and Auburn. Forget about Alabama and Auburn. But will we see players that will shut it down if their position's already locked up?
I think that's something that we've got to monitor and see where that's going to go. I mean, there may be enough, would there be enough pressure from fans to keep some of that from happening? But the other thing is, I think the other, and we won't know this until this happens, would be, is there a chance Alabama and Auburn could play in the second round of the playoffs? If you've got a situation like that, I think that would have a lot to do with it too. I mean, Milroe made a good reply. I mean, basically, well, I'm going to be with my brothers and playing with them until the end, type reply. But look, we can't be naive and think this current group of players are going to be swayed at the end if they feel they need a week off, or if you've got teams doing that, right? So I hope that doesn't happen, but it wouldn't shock us, would it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just something to think about because. And what we were trying to do hypothetically, let's say that you are a 12-team regular season. You've got the SEC title game. If you're not one of those first teams, let's say you lose the SEC title game, or maybe you're already out of that 4th spot anyway. Maybe you're a 7, 8, 9. You're like, okay, I know I'm in, but I'm not one of the 4, which I guess you could play for the bye. Not the bye, but you could play for the home site, which would be epic.
Exactly.
It'd be off the charts. I mean, there is still some value, but as fans, what's more important? a rivalry win. Now, could you counter that, Brent, and move the rivalry game up?
Well, that's an astute comment, and you really kind of wonder, would that happen? I mean, you've got rivalries like Oklahoma and Texas that are mid-year instead of at the end of the year. But look, Ryan, I would have to think that if something like that became a trend, that might be something that teams looked at. What would be that? Let's play it earlier year when it would have more meaning.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something to think about, and we do look at it. Like this year, the Saturdays, the way they fall, you played November the 30th, you'd play the Iron Bowl. Mm-hmm. December the 7th, you will play the SEC title game, and less than 2 weeks later, you'll play your first round of the college football playoffs.
Well, see, I think what you've got here is, and commissioners don't want to talk about this, but how is this going to devalue your conference championship games? I think, frankly, Ryan, you've got look. There's nothing like winning an SEC title unless it's a national title, and Bama has won 3 of the last 4 or so, and that I think that is important. Nick Saban said it was important, but the thing is, you've got a lot of teams right now that would probably be very happy, wouldn't they, Ryan, that if they didn't have to play in the championship game and they had that week off, because frankly you're going, and this is not sacrilege, I don't think, but going deeper in the playoffs, I could see where that would have a lot more meaning for teams and fans than even winning your conference championship game. It's almost like college basketball, is it not, Ryan?
A little bit.
Where sure, it's incredible to be able to win an SEC championship, but particularly in basketball, would it be wrong to say going to the Sweet 16 or Final 8 or certainly Final 4 is more important to these teams and coaches, I believe, than even playing and winning an SEC championship?
Good thought. Brent, the next time we visit, we're going to be talking a little college football. Practice gets started on Wednesday.
Wow.
A lot of excitement around this Alabama football team, and the energy. I've never been through an off season like this one.
No. And look, and particularly the excitement is football and basketball combined. Look, I'm not sure Nate Oates didn't have probably less going on as far as publicity for that basketball team, just to kind of keep their feet on the ground at this point, Ryan. So I've been fascinated to see that, but look, it's a very important time of year, and fans need to embrace those 29 or 30 practices that they're about to get.
And that is going to be the topic of conversation. Brent, I hope you have a great weekend. I'm going to remind Second Helping with Travis Reier, where you get your podcast. Find him at First Coast News, Jacksonville, Florida, ABC, NBC News affiliate. They're in great radio stations like this one. Connect with all of the things Brent Beard straight up on the Twitter account at Brent Beard, BEAIRD, BEAIRD. Brent, I appreciate you so much, man. Have a great weekend.
You too, brother. Take care.
Thank you. We'll continue with more of the game. We're taking your phone calls right here. We are free the rest of the way. Tony Sakalas earlier, Brent Beard. A free-for-all Friday sponsored by Brian Harden Construction on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Us at BMW of Tuscaloosa, 3537 Skyland Boulevard East, or at bmwoftuscaloosa.com. That's bmwoftuscaloosa.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A warm, humid afternoon. A few scattered showers and thunderstorms around through tonight. The high today 87, the low tonight 74. Tomorrow, partly sunny. The chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms by afternoon. The high 89. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Follow the Crimson Tide on their journey to another national championship. Touchdown, Alabama! On your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Urgent Care Family Medicine, MedCenterUrgentCare.com. When you look at our great folks right there, you can find them in Tuscaloosa in the Lowe's Shopping Center, Northport, Fayette, Hoover, Alabama, Demopolis, and also in North River off Rice Mine Road, MedCenterUrgentCare.com. Josh in Georgia, get ready. We're coming your way in 2 minutes. T-Town Tide, 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Rumsey Environmental, a one-stop shop serving West Alabama for all of your waste removal needs. If you're in the construction business, take a little bit of stress out of your life. The construction debris removal containers customized to fit your job site, the portable toilet service, the storage containers to protect your valuables. It's Rumsey Environmental for that complete waste removal service. When you have to know it's being done right, that's the time to call Rumsey Environmental, 205-248-0002, RumseyEnvironmental.com. El Grant is the great Mexican place in Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Go over and see my friends Carlos, 205-391-4555, 62 McFarland Boulevard, Monday through Thursday from 11 until 9:30, Friday and Saturday 11 until 10:30, Sunday also open 11 until 9. You'll find the great daily lunch specials. You'll find great entrees, including the great fajitas, great desserts. The kids menu, always welcome. The call-ahead orders as well. El Gran on McFarland Boulevard. You'll find it at the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Northport Power Equipment, largest inventory Husqvarna dealer in the Southeast. You'll find the Husqvarna models for residential and the professional landscapers, Skag commercial mowers, residential mowers, backpack blowers, handheld blowers, battery-operated tools. The service department at Northport Power Equipment, 2 blocks east of the Northport Civic Center. You'll find Northport Power Equipment, established in 1996, Northport Power Equipment. MedCenterUrgentCare.com. We expect the unexpected. Locations in Tuscaloosa, Northport, North River, right there off Rice Mine Road, Fayette, Demopolis, Hoover. The great doctors, urgent care, family medicine, injuries, occupational health, sports physicals. We do expect the unexpected. MedCenterUrgentCare.com, the online check-in available. Significantly reduce your wait time. The super doctors who live and work in Tuscaloosa. MedCenterUrgentCare.com.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Byer.
The Miami Dolphins and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa have agreed on a 4-year extension worth $212.4 million. Tua will get a reported $167 million in guarantees as part of the deal. His annual salary breaks down to $53.1 million per season when it goes into effect in the 2025-2026 season. Again, multiple reports saying Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins agreeing on a 4-year extension. The opening ceremony is underway for the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris, while the Denver Nuggets and Russell Westbrook have agreed on a 2-year deal worth $6.8 million. That includes a player option for the second year. A trade in baseball as the Philadelphia Phillies have acquired outfielder Austin Hayes in a deal from the Baltimore Orioles. On the PGA Tour, Matt Neesmith leads the 3M Open in second-round play at 10 under. John Rahm's at 8 under in the first round of the LIV event in the UK. KJ Choi leads the Senior Open Championship at 6 under.
I got spirit, I got faith. I might bend, but I won't break. I'll fight the elements. And I'ma go down swinging. If I go down, I'ma go down swinging. If I go down, I'ma go down swinging. If I go down, I'ma go down swinging. If I go down. This ain't a home. Nah, not even close. They camouflage like we fighting some ghosts.
Little Nate
You
Oates,
start to doubt
little
everything
Toby
that
Mac,
you know.
his favorite group. As we start the 4 o'clock hour, 2 hours in, 2 hours to go. We are always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. The big one sales event happening right now. Some great interest saving specials, including the new 2025 Toyota Camry, 3.99 APR for $36. If you're looking for the 2024 RAV4, we've got those, 2.99 APR for $36. If you're looking for the Tundra, 1.99 APR for $36. And you say, well, hold on, I don't want to do $36. Well, it goes up slightly as you increase the months. You can see all of those specials at Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. David DeSantis and the great dealership service department. Also, renting a Toyota is an option. You can also do service parts, all of the above at Tuscaloosa Toyota. We're doing a free-for-all Friday sponsored by Brian Harden Construction. We'd ask that you would download the Tide 100.9 app. It is a free download. You can communicate with us, and I know the phone lines have been jammed up. You can always send us an app message, maybe a little roll call out there. Give us a roll Tide and tell us where you're listening to us from. We always enjoy those because it's kind of fun to see how many people are engaged with Alabama Crimson Tide football 36 days away. So send us an app message. Give us a little roll Tide. Tell us where you're listening to us from, and we appreciate that. So you can download the app, and then you say, well, how do I send a message? Very simple. Go to the left-hand side of the screen, the drop-down menu. It says chat with us. Send us a message right there. We'll get it, and we say thank you for downloading that Tide 100.9 app. If you look across our company, Town Square Media, and we have, about 330 stations? 270. I can't remember exactly the number of Town Square stations that we have, but it's over 250. I know we kind of fluctuate a little bit from time to time. We have, eight stations here. Tide 100.9 is
349 across Town Square.
349 stations. Did you know that Tide 100.9 has, when we talk about the most downloads, we are in the top 5, and we're against cities that are much, much bigger than Tuscaloosa. Market size, we're about a 232 when you look at across the country, 232. So that's not in the large. What'd you say, 325?
349.
349. Well, Tide 100.9. Because of you, because of the folks that listen to our program and all of our shows, from Mornings with Martin Houston to we close it down at 6 p.m. That is the amount of people that have downloaded the app simply blows us away. And we say thank you. And we know that we are your connection back to Tuscaloosa, and we're doing a free-for-all Friday. Let's go to Josh in Georgia. Josh, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Everything is good. And when you said 36 days, you're talking about gave this old boy a chill that ain't like no other. I mean, it
36
is
days away. And when we started at 2:45 or whatever it was, man.
Dude. Well, not only that, if you want to back up, I know we've recapped it and different callers recap it. 2:45 and the greatest coach of all time retired.
Pretty stressful.
So how far have we come
It was a
now?
pretty stressful day. I did more radio in 3 days than I've ever done in my entire life. Heavens.
I bet not only your show, but I bet people was wanting you to come on their shows and be like, hey, what is going on?
We did quite a few of those interviews, but I mean, we were just coming. I'll never forget the day that Nick Saban retired. We went to 8 or 9 o'clock, and then the following Friday, when Kalen DeBoer was coming in, we didn't, because I know Martin Houston came on and did an hour with me, but we went from 2 until 9.
Which I was able to watch via the Tide 100.9 Facebook. Thank you to whoever did that video. That was pretty cool to watch because, as again, I've heard stories about people talking about the change from Coach Bryant. Not old enough to remember that, but now I can say that, hey, I've seen the GOAT. I lived the GOAT era, but I have seen the change of the guard, and we're ready to usher in a new era. And to just say 36 days away, that means whenever they start practice next week, we'll be close to 30. That's, I mean, just it's so close you can.
And I know that we'll take our game, whether it's Facebook on Tide's webpage, Tide109.com. So, there's another reason to download the Tide 100.9 app. I mean, we are going to keep you up to date with this camp. And because of all of the access.
Do a great job of keeping us in touch.
Well, many times I'll miss a topic, and it'll be on the website. The alerts kind of keep me notified a little bit because I can't be on Twitter every single second of the day.
Right.
But, when you look at next week, from a media, and we don't have a media schedule yet. We'll get that early next week. But from a standpoint of having all these media availabilities, players, coaches.
Oh, then you'll really be able, not only do y'all put out content, you'll be able to really uptick some content, getting right here close to that, 1 month, getting into that football season mode, really getting into giving something to feast on. You know what I mean?
We will. We will.
And that'll be great. But so something I was looking at and something I kind of wanted to bring up on this Free For All Friday was, so I don't know if you have the Bama Time magazine or at least have had a chance to flip through it. It has Jalen Milroe on the cover. And, of course, it talks about the coaching change. It has player profiles, coaching profiles, and talks about the coaching experience and kind of gives you just a little bit of background on the coaches. So I did something interesting. So I decided I wanted to look and see what kind of total experience. So you take everybody's coaching years of experience and add them up. I don't know if that's something that you've done or if that's something that you just thought about. Guess how much coaching years experience we have from Coach DeBoer to Coach Christian Robinson, our outside linebackers coach. When you add them all up, what do you think that number is, coaching years of experience combined?
I don't even
just take a guess.
Yeah, don't have a clue. I wouldn't even be able to.
185 years total of coaching experience. Does that mean anything? Maybe not necessarily to some people. It's just something that was interesting to me as a unofficial number crunch. But when you think about that, and it's like I said, it goes into their detail, kind of where they coached at, previously, even if they played and how long they played, whether it was college and pro, just college. But when you think about it, I think Paul had said something about that we was even, and we've talked about this probably till we almost kicked a dead horse, but we know that this horse is alive and well, and it's fixing to run the track of its life. But this coaching staff, if you just not take out Coach DeBoer, but you just move into the side and then look at his under coaches, is probably one of the best I have ever seen. I mean, I know we've had some good ones, but this is probably one of the best I have ever seen. And I'm excited. I can't wait to watch these boys in action as far as what they have been able to do with these players. And I know y'all talked about a little bit what Jalen was doing up in New York. That was pretty cool. I sent that reel on Instagram to about 4 or 5 different people of him and Aaron Judge, where he gave Judge that Alabama jersey with the 99 on the back. And Judge is a big dude. But whenever I saw him standing next to Jalen Milroe, it's like, forget about how big Judge is. Look at how big Jalen Milroe is. And I texted it to Mitchell. I said, this is what keeps defensive coordinators up at night. The nightmare, Jalen Milroe.
It's a great point.
LOL.
Great point.
And
because he's so versatile. I mean, he can do a lot of different things, man. A lot of different things. I mean, it's a new toy in the toy chest for Kalen DeBoer's offense.
For sure. I mean, we knew he was big. You said it at times upon end last year, built out of Stone Mountain granite. But now he looks even more chiseled. But like I said, the fact of him standing next to Aaron Judge and making Aaron Judge look almost normal to me, I was like, that is literally what keeps defensive coordinators up at night, because we can go back to that Georgia game. I know we've reflected on it. I love reflecting on it, and I'm not the only one to have reflected on it. 2.5 minutes or some odd time to go. Ball on the 25. Snap. 30-yard run to just seal the game. I mean, they sealed that edge. He comes off that left side, and just a 30-yard run right off the bat to beat the Bull Puppies one more time. And I love doing it. I love recapping that. And I just think, and I know we talked about it on a previous show, I think he will take that next step. But the receiver thing is really something that is beginning to interest me on who will be that breakout receiver. Like I said, maybe Monday or Tuesday, whenever you had that question, I said Kendrick Law. But it really does get interesting if, say, you don't have just one breakout receiver, but you spread the ball out enough to where you are that distribution center, to where everybody gets, not an equal, but everybody gets a piece of the ball. Because if you go back to the 2015 game, Lane Kiffin scripted the first 20 plays, and look at how he spread the ball to Derrick Henry, to O.J. Howard, to Ardarius Stewart. I mean, Calvin Ridley, the way Lane spread the ball. I think that's the way Coach DeBoer almost might run his offense. Because don't forget, he had 2 first-round receivers drafted from Washington last year. And Jeremy Bernard, who didn't even go to the draft because he wanted to transfer in and play his junior. Well, I guess he couldn't go to the draft, but he had to come play his junior year. And he said, hey, I'm going to follow Coach down to Tuscaloosa. So this offense thing can be very, very interesting. And I can't wait.
It can be. It can be. And a lot of excitement around this Alabama football team. Josh, I appreciate you, man.
Right. Yeah, buddy. Roll Tide.
Right back to you. Josh in Georgia. That leaves one line available, 205-342-9904. Tua Tagovailoa getting a big contract extension. It is the highest 4-year extension in NFL history, and he is making a ton of cash. I saw where he's making in 1 year what Dan Marino made his entire Miami Dolphin career. Something to think about. Bubba, Northport. Bubba, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
It's all well, my friend. How's it going?
Oh, we're having a great day, man. Great day.
That's good. That's good. Fill me in. I kind of caught the tail end of what's going on in Georgia. What happened?
So you had a player. Ra Thomas, who was arrested early Friday morning on multiple family violence charges, being held at the Athens-Clarke County Jail, according to jail records and Mark Slabaugh from ESPN, senior writer. Thomas, a senior from Eufaula, Alabama, was charged with cruelty to children, family violence, a second-degree felony, and 2 misdemeanor counts of battery with family violence. So he was jailed and with being held without bond. So,
Wow. So Kirby just keeps dishing them out, don't he?
And according to Chris Lowe and also Anthony Dasher, he has been suspended indefinitely, according to team sources that tell Chris Lowe and also Anthony Dasher. I believe Anthony Dasher was the first one that reported this, but he has been suspended. So,
well, he'll just go in the transfer portal and he'll be going down the road somewhere next year. That's how that's going to work.
So that is big topic right there. But Georgia, according to my sources, Kirby wants to give Urban Meyer. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding about this. But
he
wants to give Urban Meyer a run for the money. He's trying to break that all-time off-season arrest record that Urban Meyer so proudly holds.
Absolutely. I have a scenario about this player sitting out from a Iron Bowl game or Texas, Oklahoma game or whatever. I'm going to use Miro as an example. Say he's, we clinched a playoff berth, but I don't see him not sitting out. Not even a player that could be up for the Heisman. He may have a 400-yard day to clinch the Heisman. So I don't see them people like that sitting out if they have a chance to get some big award like that.
Well, and Bubba, that's another great scenario. There's a lot of elements. There's a lot of variables into this thing. You could, You need to. I mean, that's something to calculate, okay? But all I'm saying is, what if you've got a player? Let's not even use quarterback. Let's just use wide receiver. Okay. And we don't even have to use Alabama. We could use LSU. And if you're a player, let's just say a running back. Let's say you're battling a high ankle sprain. You've been back, but you know that you're a playoff team. And you go, I tell you what, man, as a coaching staff, we're probably going to wait this one out. It's kind of like a non-conference game. Yeah, we already got our kind of position locked up. Does that become a possibility? I mean, I threw it out hypothetically to Brent Beard. If one of these rivalry games, any chance we move those up?
Right, to avoid that.
Something to kind of look at, something to think about.
That would be, if a player sits it out, it has to be under approval. He just ain't going to say he's going to sit it out. Because to wait for that, I mean, a coach will have to probably approve that.
Well, sure.
Yeah, he just ain't gonna do it. It ain't like sitting out the Birmingham Bowl. that's a no-brainer there. But because your season's done with, if you're there, your season's over with anyway. Auburn will be up there though. That's their bowl game.
Yeah, nobody interfere with the Birmingham Bowl. That belongs to the Tigers.
I was talking to Ellis earlier today, and he's all for this party. Y'all just got to get it set up. Ellis is in.
Ellis is in. Okay. Well,
Ellis and Manchester's in.
Well, I called Brian Harden last night, and after the show, I mean, I like how this grew. We're just gonna, we're gonna borrow his facilities. I hope he doesn't mind. And,
no, he don't mind.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
He's a great guy. He's a super guy. He wouldn't mind.
He's one of the best. One of the best, man. And
all right, Ryan, I'll let you go. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Stephen in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're going to get to you coming up in a couple of minutes. The House lawsuit has been officially filed, according to Ross Dellinger. We were looking at some of the numbers increasing officially. We've already talked about the football side of things, but men's fencing. Okay, that's important. 4.5 to 24. So that's a 19.5 scholarship up. You have the option. You don't have to, it's not fulfilled. It's not required, but it's an option. Basketball going from 13 to 15. Tumbling going from 14 to 55. Man, what's tumbling? Is that cheerleading? Is that what's tumbling?
I think it's, cheerleading. Like the people that they throw in the air and hold up on their shoulders. I think that's tumbling.
Oh, that's tumbling. Okay. Baseball goes from 11.7 to a 34. That's a 22.3 increase. Basketball, as we said, went from 13 to 15 on both. And actually on the women's side, it stayed the same, 15 to 15, 15 to 15. So no increase on the women's side. I thought I saw, okay. Beach volleyball goes from 6 to 19, 13. Bowling, that's important, 5 to 11. That's an increase of 6 for the Auburn fans in the back of the room. I'm not going to read through all this. Fencing, okay, I've already read that one. On both men's and women's, it increases by 19.5 according to men, 19 for women. Field hockey. 12 to 27. I mean, only reason I'm reading off some of these numbers is there's a lot of programs out there that have a lot more than just football, that have a lot more than just basketball. I think Alabama has 19 varsity sports, maybe 21. I got to go back and go through, count them, but I think 19 or 21. And as Greg Byrne has said on this show, we want to keep all of those. Ohio State, Stanford, many of those schools out there. So you're looking at a lot of scholarships. So it's pretty much a consensus across the board. Like something as simple as rifle scholarship, 3.6. Now they have a chance to go to 12. That's an increase of 8.4. Rugby, women's rugby from 20 to 68. 48 scholarships. We are truly in the haves and the have-nots. Stunt. What's a stunt? What is a sport called stunt? Anybody know what that is? Stunt. S-T-U-N-T. Both men and women's go from 14 to 65. That's a 51 increase. Swimming from 9.9 on the men's side to a 30. That's a 20.1 increase. Women, 14 to 30. That's an increase of 16. Tennis, 4.5 on the men to 10 total, 5.5 increase. Women, 8. Currently, it goes to 10, so that's an increase of 2. Volleyball on the men's side from 4.5 to 18. Where does all this money come from? Because every scholarship, just based on an average, Greg Byrne has said right here on this show, $180,000 per athlete. We did the math on Wednesday. You could potentially, if you fulfilled all of these roster limits with scholarships, we did the math. It was like 63? 63? And if you added all that up, that's about a $12 million possibility. Let's just say you cut it in half. Let's say you only fulfill 30 of those. Do the math. That is a ton of cash. The House lawsuit has now been filed, and now we're also going to ask some of these smaller schools to pay a big part of this tab, too.
I guess now we know why they're trying to expand the CFP and get these schools some more money.
That's one of the topics. We'll continue with more. Stephen and Raleigh, get ready. We're coming to you, and we're taking your phone calls, 205-342-9904. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Now, this hour hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
Be sure to check out the weekend weather outlook and temperature guide for all West Alabama counties to help you plan your weekend at TuscaloosaThread.com. And for drivers, the bridge over the railroad on 5th Street past the Tuscaloosa National Airport will be closed for 2 weeks. And tap the free Tuscaloosa Thread app to find out more about how former Tide defensive lineman Isaiah Buggs has been officially sentenced. Plus, get details on which former Tide player will become one of the highest paid NFL players at TuscaloosaThread.com.
Get 24/7 local news coverage and sports updates when you download the free Tuscaloosa Thread app and sign up for twice daily email newsletters. Tide 100.9 Traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, a very happy TGIF to you. We've got our hands full right now on McFarland Boulevard, eastbound at University Boulevard. Watch out for this crash. It's got traffic backed up pretty heavily. The right lane is blocked. And we've also got lane blockages on Greensboro Avenue, northbound near 15th Street. Right at
or visit mezwins.com. I've got this.
No representations made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A warm, humid afternoon. A few scattered showers and thunderstorms around through tonight. The high today 87, the low tonight 74. Tomorrow, partly sunny. The chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms by afternoon. The high 89. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Where college football season never ends. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9.
That's big boy football.
And streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
It's my life, it's now or never. I ain't gonna live forever. I just wanna live my life. It's my life. My heart is like an open highway. Like Franklin said, I did it my way. I just wanna live my life.
How about a little Nuke Scenery if you're looking for a great sandwich? The French dip sandwich, the white barbecue sauce of the Nuke's Q sandwich is a great option. If you're looking for pimento cheese, chicken salad, you're looking for a great salad, a California-style pizza, or a 12-layer cake. 205 University Boulevard, 205-758-2455. Let's go to Stephen in Raleigh, North Carolina. Stephen, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
All is well, Ryan. I hope all is well as you as well. I'm over here at Fort Liberty, North Carolina, on what used to be Fort Bragg. So, listening to you on the app.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. I mean, Stephen, you got anything on your chest that you want to get off? And we got 90 minutes here on a Free-for-All Friday sponsored by Brian Hart Construction. You got anything that's bothering you?
No, I'm good. I do want to talk about the scholarships a little bit.
Okay.
You know, baseball in particular. You know, Ryan, people don't realize how far behind the 8 ball a school like Alabama was with only 11.7 scholarships. And yet, you know, the state of Alabama kept having the votes for the lottery and things like that would actually give school scholarships because these other states have been subsidizing their baseball program for years with these Hope scholarships and things like that come from the lottery, and Alabama didn't have that. But now when you add 20 scholarships to baseball, 20.3 or whatever is to put it up to 34, it really evens the playing field for a school like Alabama. And then I think about football. Ryan, do you go after 20 guys that maybe you could develop and would stay there and not transfer
See,
out?
that's the juggle. That's I mean, you're sitting there and you're like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? Okay, you need these players. You need quality players because you need a good look on a scout team, right? Your scout team is super important. How do you juggle that?
But if you add 20 more, let's say you add 24 top 300 players, all 4-star guys, and they're not playing now they're number 98, 99. They're going to transfer, right?
They will.
So I kind of think you look at the 3-star guy, and it really makes talent evaluation. It brings talent evaluation to the forefront. That you find the jewels and the 3-star players that will stay, and in year 3, when you got all these 5-star guys going to the pros, here you are with a junior that is just developed into a heck of a player, versus starting over every year with a 4-star. And I'm talking about strictly the bottom 20 there, where you're adding those 20 extra scholarships. If you add 24 stars, you're starting over every year with them because they're not going to stay.
So if you're okay, all right. So Stephen, okay, put your coach hat on just for a minute. You got a coach hat?
I do. I got it on right now.
All right. What would you do?
I would probably do a mixture.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, like Courtney Morgan said, you're not going to turn down a good. If he fits our system, you're not turning down a good player. However, at some point, you've got to come to a point where, hey, I can develop this guy. And when he's a junior and senior, you got to be able to have the foresight to be able to see this guy because there's a lot of difference in a 17-year-old kid and a 22-year-old kid or a 21-year-old kid. I mean, there's a lot of development there in a kid's body. You got to be able to see that in kids. So I think it's going to be a mixture of. I would love to find the answer of can you have red shirts? I mean, not red shirts, but walk-ons anymore. Can you have a walk-on over 105?
You can. Oh, yeah. No, because they're cutting it down because the number was 120. You had to keep it under 120. Now, that's no longer. I mean, it's now 105, and you know what they did? It's kind of like what politicians do, to be honest with you. They scared them coaches so bad and thought it was going to be 85, and then what did they do? They put it at 105.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
they gave them a little bit
to make them feel like it. But at the end of the day, they kind of got screwed because you got 15 numbers.
15. Right, you still have 15 that are doing reps on the team. What's the team called that gets the first team ready?
Scout team.
The scout team. You know, now you lost 15 guys that could be running reps on the scout team, but they gave you a little carrot, and you kind of feel good about it, but really you still lost. So, but I really see those final 20 being some developmental players, but like Courtney Morgan said, you don't turn down a good player. So, but baseball is what's really, really evened up for. I'm excited about baseball for Alabama.
Well, and it does give a chance, but here's the question, though, and this will be, I hope at some point we'll have Greg Byrne, whether a press conference or a media availability or something, like, do you fulfill those scholarships? And maybe this is something we'll ask Coach DeBoer next week, okay? Because everybody asked him down in Sandestin when we were there. I think every coach went in there, was talking about, the 85. So you're at 85, and what do you think's the number? This is not the NFL where if you have an injury, and unfortunately you have quarterbacks that go down, and if you've got to go to the practice squad with some other team, you have that option. The last time I checked, I don't think that's legal in the world of college football.
Right. You said, what did you say? Greg Byrne said a scholarship's worth $180,000.
Okay, and that includes the scholarship money, the meal plan, the tuition, the room and board. There's also a cost of attendance. There's another stipend in there. There's tons of cash. I'm trying to think what he said. It was actually hard cash. In other words, that's not just numbers they're moving around. Like, okay, we're going to make it look like $180,000. A lot of that's cash.
Ryan, I say that there's going to be some schools out there that can't fulfill these scholarships financially.
I agree. I totally agree. And so are we now the separation from the haves and the have-nots?
You're going to see another level of separation. It's just I have to. It's a have and have not world. When it comes to that money, if you got 20 scholarships in football, 20 scholarships in baseball, I thought you guys said 63 to start with, but this number is a lot for the total program. Is a lot higher than 63.
Well, and it depends on all the sports, but we were just kind of looking at it is higher than 63. It's a great point because we didn't calculate all the sports because you've got now something as simple as men's swimming and diving or men's tennis, women's tennis.
Tumbling or whatever you said. I don't.
Well, and I get a couple of messages, but I need to go look this up. What is NCAA tumbling? Someone said it was the people that were in the the end zone where they did
like the cheerleading squad. Right.
But
see, when you start counting all that money, there's no way that there's some of the schools can fulfill that much money. Not everybody's football program makes the kind of money Alabama does.
No, I agree.
You look at East Carolina's over here about 2 hours away in middle of nowhere, Greenville, North Carolina. They're Division I, but there's no way that a program like that is fulfilling that amount of scholarships.
What's going to happen is it will need somebody that will say, guys, we're cutting sports. We're going to have to. There's no way that we can afford at this pace.
Don't tell Digger.
Don't
tell Digger they're going to be cutting.
Well, Digger may be happy now that you've got now scholarships that will be more swimming and diving, which is very important to those who swim and dive.
Yeah, it'll help him win that all sports trophy that he keeps talking about. That he's the only one that anybody cares about.
That's a good point. I mean, there's just a lot of different things. I mean, the world that we live in, I think Chris Hummer just wrote it. He said, the rich will get richer. It sucks for the walk-ons, and can you keep 105 players happy? Those are the real topics.
Well, that's what that's what you and I are sitting there talking about when it comes to developing versus taking 4 stars, because that final 20 is going to be hard to keep happy.
Got it.
So, but the rich will get richer. Because not everybody will be able to afford that kind of scholarship program.
Got it.
Anyhow, roll tide, Ryan. Love you, Joe.
Roll tide. Stephen, Raleigh, North Carolina. We'll get to Democracy Dan. Okay. Next, T-Town, Tide, 100.9, 1230, WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Comfortable, no matter how high the mercury rises. Call Ox Home Services today at 205-979-0946 or visit oxhomeservices.com.
Don Wallace CPA, 527 Main Avenue in downtown Northport. Small business and personal income taxes, payroll, sales tax needs. They can also help you with nonprofit or church accounting or auditing. In business since 1999, they work for you, not the IRS. When you take on taxes, you got to have someone on your side. It's Don Wallace.
In comfort and convenience, it's footwear you just step into and they're on with no bending down. Find Skechers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Big Mike's downtown Moundville, only about 15 minutes from where I'm located. Also in Gunnersville, Alabama, Thomasville, Andalusia, Auburn, Alabama, Orange Beach. You'll find one of the best steaks in the state of Alabama, voted by the Alabama Cattlemen's Association and many other great publications recognizing the great ribeye, the seafood entrees. You'll find those, the great service. It is Big Mike's downtown Moundville. If you're looking for a great steak, Wednesday through Saturday, 4 until 10, Big Mike's downtown Moundville.
The best sports talk in the state. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Taking you to touch and go.
have never been able to take a phone call from this place. We've taken from Florida, but we go to Democracy Dan from Mar-a-Lago. Democracy Dan, I hope you're doing well. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Thank you. I got a question. Are you still having Free for All Fridays?
We are. Free for All Friday, sponsored by Brian Harden Construction.
Okay, well, your song there about heading in the danger zone.
Yeah.
I haven't called in a while, and
I don't think you've ever called Democracy Dan.
Well, formerly Danny from Margaritaville, Danny G from Margaritaville.
Oh, this is Danny. Democracy Dan.
Fowler, it's time to stand up, my friend. I know it's been a long time since I've called, and I don't want to get into all the reasons right now. There'll be another time and place for that. But
I mean, are you officially back?
Well, it's time to stand up, my friend.
Okay.
It's time to stand up for the United States. It's time to stand up for your children, your grandchildren, and their grandchildren. Because, man, it's coming if we don't. It's going to be bad news for them. It's time to voice your opinion and not worry about offending somebody. And this doesn't mean that you're a terrorist or a racist or a threat to democracy because you wear red. I mean, man, we love this country. We love the United States of America. We love the hard-working, backbone people of America. You know, and these people, we have been offended for the last 3.5 years. We have been offended.
I've been embarrassed.
And we're sick of it, Fowler. And it's time to stand up, fly your flag proudly, wear your MAGA hat proudly, in public. I've got my Trump flag flying right now, and HOA may have something to say about it. But let me tell you that I know we're in 98% red country in your audience, but here's the thing. I've been praying that Trump would defeat Biden, and by gosh, my prayers was answered. And we need to start praying now that Trump will beat Kamala. I mean, the power of prayer, it goes way beyond this state, my friend.
Well, you can't convince me that divine intervention was not a role of what happened 2 weeks ago tomorrow.
God bless America. God bless Trump. I tell you what,
because
man,
if that bullet is 2 more inches. By the way, the FBI has released the findings for all of those left conspiracy folks. It was a bullet, and it was the bullet that fired from the guy that was killed.
Yeah.
So, but when you look at it and you think about it, that thing is 2 inches to the right.
Yeah.
Where would we be in this country?
I'm telling you, it'd be in
this
bad
country?
shape. It'd be in an uproar. But, you know, Alabama and Auburn fans, we don't get along, but we need to be bipartisan on this. We need to come together and pray for Trump's safety, and we need to pray that he will win this election. Because I'm telling you, these swing states, it's just
well, I think
it's big.
Should we go over and register to vote over in Georgia? I mean, our friends from Georgia, I mean, they've got bigger problems than having football players arrested. I mean, I never thought I'd say this in my lifetime, that Georgia would be a swing state.
Isn't that crazy? That's what I'm talking about, fella. It's in the South, and it is this woke society where we're living. It is spreading the lies. I mean, it's just unreal what's going on. But you know, they're meeting down in Malargo right now. You see where the power is. You know, I mean, all they can run on is killing babies and calling Trump names, a race as a threat to democracy. It's not a whole lot they can run on.
Well, and what he's talking about that's happening down in Florida is Netanyahu is down there speaking with the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump. And as a Christian, a Bible believing Christian, we are we have a commandment in there that we must have Israel's back. If you truly are a Bible-believing Christian, we don't have an option. It's not like an option. Well, we can if it's this. We're in a fight. We're in a fight. We're in a fight for, it's kind of like the guy from Hattiesburg yesterday. I said, well, we can't afford not to be quiet. So
you're just right. You cannot afford, and it's just unbelievable that the left is backing the Palestine and backing Hamas and backing these countries and letting these people demonstrate in the street that wants to kill us. But I appreciate you letting me get on my soapbox. I hadn't called a long time, but before I go on, there is some comparisons between the Democratic Party and the Auburn toilet paper people.
Okay. Hold on. This is kind of funny. You've got comparisons between Democrats and Auburns. Let's hear it.
Yeah. I mean, it may be hard to come together and be bipartisan because the Democrat Party, they have these coups and they forced old Grandpa Joe out. Like Auburn, they've had several coups with Brian Harsin, Terry Bowden, and the coup that failed miserably was Jetgate, trying to get Tuberville out. As soon as you start losing in the polls, you got to go, baby, and the coup starts. And then you got the delusional brainwash, people they talking about Trump and calling him names, racist, convicted felon, and they suck this up like a sponge. They're going to take away Social Security, and they soak it up like a sponge, like the Barnbush people. Over the years, they claimed Saban's cheating, on the field and off the field recruiting. Stan White, he started this stigma. Well, I don't know if he started, but he run with it, spewing all this poison about Saban. It's a lot of comparison. And they just, Auburn people just soak it up and believe it too. Democrats that waste money, just blow the money out. It's like Auburn, they waste money on a lot of things too, like paid not to coach program. All these coaches out there paid, it hurts their NIL program. And the lies and cover-ups and corruption of the Democratic Party, Hunter Biden's laptop. You got Auburn's covering up for Jarquez Hunter adult tapes, production and selling of his adult tapes. It's a lot. There's a lot to really compare them to. I mean, I could go on and on, but it's all, like, who's running the show? Who's really running the show? It wasn't Joe Biden. He's been in the basement licking ice cream for all these years, and that's what you think about Auburn. Who's been running Auburn all these years behind the scenes? Bobby Louder, Pat Dye, Yellowwood. Yeah, see what I'm saying? There's a lot of comparisons between them. But anyway, man, I appreciate you giving me.
You got a lot of people out here that are very happy to hear your voice, man. And Bama Nick, he's been screaming for you.
Is Bama Nick still calling and holding up your show like Alabama holds up the SEC?
Well, he is number one. We've kind of looked around at our rankings.
Well, that's good to know. He's still calling and holding the show up.
Well,
number one,
and really,
best caller in America.
Well, he's best caller in America, and Tony has taken a back seat to Bama Nick.
Well, I figure Tony's got his own show by now. Surely,
he's got his own Facebook account.
He's got a Facebook account.
And it's very funny, too. He brings the same type of comedy to this show as he puts on Facebook. But follow at your own risk, okay? Just T-Town Tony, T-Town Tony. Find it there. But
a lot of things have happened since I've called. And, the great Dawson has passed away. So glad to hear that. And Alabama's become a basketball school. And man, I don't know. The world's just turning upside down.
Yeah, I mean, we have become a basketball school. I mean, Democracy Dan. I mean, we've become a basketball school. Nate
and the more he's outshining these people that doubted him. He's recruiting like crazy. I think he's recruiting better than Saban. So I mean, it's really rocking down there in Tuscaloosa, and a lot has happened since I called. But I appreciate you letting me on. and give me a few minutes. Give me a little bit of Tony time, Bama Nick time. I appreciate it, my
Well,
friend.
I mean, you've still got 7 minutes if we're going to do Bama Nick time.
Well, the people will start getting upset if I go on and on. But
okay, well, it's good to hear your voice, Danny. And I know Bama Nick somewhere over 3 PBRs. He's smiling ear to ear somewhere.
I hear you, Bama Nick.
So-
Drink one for me, my friend. Hey, I might not get to call as much as I used to, and that's kind of one of the reasons I haven't been calling, because I didn't want to disappoint Bama Nick. If I can't make it in his top 5, I just don't know if I didn't want to really call.
Hey, this just in. I mean, I know that, and like I said, this is our final, not really final Free for All Friday. We'll do another one, but Trump has just announced that he will go back to Butler, Pennsylvania, where an assassination attempt on him was made, to host a rally honoring the life of the individual Corey Coppertor, who was fatally shot. Yeah. He will go back there to Butler, Pennsylvania.
That's good.
I guess
that's good.
And you have to look. Listen, I know our friends from the left, they don't like to hear this, but an individual that was shot at, and when he gets up on that on his feet, what does he say? Fight. I mean,
and that's what we got to do. We got to fight with prayer.
He's 1 second away from dying. Okay, one second away from meeting his maker, and his country is on his mind.
I went to his rally in Coleman when he was in Alabama one year, and I've been searching the internet and trying to see when he's going to get back down this way, because I sure want to go. I signed up and I sent some money to Trump, and y'all can do that too. Go to Win Red and send him some money. We have got to get.
Are you Democracy Dan? Because I know you got the resort down there. Are you going to match every dollar that is donated from this radio show? Is that what you're going to do?
Well, we'll see. We'll see about that, fellas. The Blue Heron Community Club down here, I don't know if they got that kind of money.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, inflation's got us all, man. I mean, you go down.
Biden's biting us in the rear end, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've learned how to spice up ramen noodles, man. I mean, you put a little ranch on them things, man. They taste like steak.
All right. Well, I'm waiting to hear Bama Nick and the rest of the guys. I know Paul. I mean, you got a long list of great callers and great people here on this show, and we love them all. And roll tide, my friend.
Democracy Dan calling us. Danny G from Foley. We appreciate your phone call. We'll continue with more of the game. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Red lights heavy on McFarland Boulevard eastbound at University Boulevard. This is due to a crash. It's got the right lane blocked. And we actually have good news. Green for go now on Greensboro Avenue northbound at 17th Street. That earlier accident all gone.
It's just best quality to our customers. So we just look at it as, hey, basically, we're your kitchen. You're just coming to eat in your kitchen. Taco Casa, under the biggest cactus in town.
Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. As you know, it's one of my favorite places. Eat Southern, be Southern, the daily lunch and dinner specials, the great menu that features that Southern cuisine, like the bacon wrap meatloaf, the fish and taters, the biscuit sandwiches, the great steaks, the great chicken entrees, great sandwiches, including the pickle burger, the Ale House burger, the yard bird, great desserts, and always that featured bread pudding that Brett Garner's cooking up. Let Southern Ale House cater your...
You'll be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text support to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A warm, humid afternoon. A few scattered showers and thunderstorms around through tonight. The high today 87, the low tonight 74. Tomorrow, partly sunny. The chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms by afternoon. The high 89. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
The longest running sports show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Chimed in on the chat box. He can't get in today because the phone lines have been jammed up as a case knife. Danny G is definitely in my top 4. Ryan Fowler, Bama Nick. Great call today from Danny G. So that was Democracy Dan, a.k.a. Danny G. I do remind you that Mark's Mark cooking up some great options right there tomorrow. Mark's Mark since 1978. Since 1978 in Selma, Alabama, and over 5 years in downtown Northport. If you're looking for one of those chicken swirls, you'll find those. If you're looking for salmon, you'll find those. If you're looking for a great ribeye, I know Kamala doesn't want us to eat red meat. That's such a crazy. I'm not making that up. That was one of the platforms that she ran on because it was causing global warming. We're going to still eat red meat around here, but you can find the ribeyes, the high choice, which is the top 10% of choice, all the local specialties, the casseroles, the dips, the appetizers, always some great pies, Priester pecans, great options there. You can find it at our good folks, Mark's Mark in downtown Northport under that Roll Tide Bridge. And they'll be firing up that grill tomorrow. And also think about those guys because they've always got some good works products. Matt Freeman does an amazing job of cooking, creating some grills. And even though he was part of the created their grill, helped them kind of get it started. But if you're looking for one of those open fire pits, you can find those at Mark's Mark in downtown Northport under those Roll Tide Bridge. We'll continue with more of the game. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Byer.
The Olympic ceremony is over and the games are open in Paris. The cauldron has been lit, a hot air balloon cauldron capping off the festivities. The Paris Games are now underway officially. Dolphins signed quarterback Tua Tagovailoa to a 4-year extension worth $212.4 million. Reports say he gets $167 million in guarantees. The contract breaks down to $53.1 million annually, which is the third highest of any quarterback in the National Football League. The 4-year extension will kick in following the 2024 season. No practice today for Steelers QB Russell Wilson. Sat out again because of a calf injury. He remains day-to-day. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson missed practice again because of an illness. The Rams officially placed defensive tackle Aaron Donald on the reserve retired list.
Last one in my bag? Get your own.
New Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites from the makers of the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Find them in the digestive care aisle.
Rolling down a backwoods Tennessee byway, one arm on the wheel, holding my lover with the other, a sweet, soft southern thrill. Worked hard all week, got a little jingle on a Tennessee Saturday night.
All right, let's count them together. You guys ready? 18 national titles, 30 SEC titles, 147 first-team All-Americans, 77 postseason appearances, 45 postseason victories, 4 Heisman winners, the NCAA all-time scoring leader, and the greatest football coaches to ever walk the sidelines. We are talking a little Alabama Crimson Tide football, and we are taking your phone calls at 205-342-9904. We are always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. TuscaloosaToyota.com. 2.99 APR for 36 on the 2024 RAV4. You can find 1.9 on the Tundra, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. Check out the inventory. You can see that inventory online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. Let's go through a little bit of headlines here on our Free-for-All Friday. Tua Tagovailoa signing one of the largest 4-year deals. It is the largest 4-year deal in the NFL history. He got paid at $167 million. That is fully guaranteed. That is one of the topics that we have kind of thrown around a little bit. Ra Thomas arrested on family violence charges. I don't have a clue what that means. Children, family violence, a second-degree felony, 2 misdemeanor counts of battery-operated family violence, no bond. So obviously very serious, a second-degree felony and 2 misdemeanor charges. He has been suspended, according to Chris Lowe, suspended indefinitely. So Georgia's Kirby Smart wants to challenge Urban Meyer for the most players arrested in one offseason. So he looks like he's getting very, very close to that record-setting moment. They've only got a couple of more days, 36 days away, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union. And we're doing a Free-for-All Friday here in Tuscaloosa. Let's continue taking phone calls, and we go to Tommy in Romulus. Tommy, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
All is well. How are you, Ron?
Man, great day. Great day to be alive.
It is.
It's better than the alternative.
Yeah, you forgot 2 things.
Okay.
Yeah, time and temperature in honor of Burt Bank.
In honor of Burt Bank, a legend here in Tuscaloosa who was a part of the Bataan Death March. Let's see here. 86 degrees, and it's currently 5 minutes after the hour. 17:05, according to our trusty watch here.
Good deal. He was my neighbor for a few years when I was growing up. So,
he was a legend. He was a legend. I can still hear that finger tapping on the glass when he owned our radio station many, many years ago. And he would tap on that glass, and he wore that national championship ring, and that ring would pop that glass, and he would say, time and temp, Ryan. The people want to know the time and the temp.
That's right. Got to do what the people want.
Radio has changed a little bit, just a little bit.
Sure. I still can't understand why people so upset with Melrose going to New York. It really blows my mind. I mean, now he's self-serving. Nah, he promoting the university. So what if he promotes himself? Well, he's the starting quarterback of the University of Alabama. And guess what? He meets people, he gets his name out there, and he might get 2 or 3 votes in the season for Heisman Trophy candidate. So what? It's all good for recruiting. It's all good for the University of Alabama. It's all good for him. Everybody wins. I'm still puzzled by that after we had a good debate and talked about it. Bruce agreed. He talked about it's positive. Biscuit Bruce mentioned. Talked about it. I'm just like, I'm shocked. Oh, I guess nobody else would ever do it. Georgia wouldn't send their quarterback up there. Texas wouldn't send their quarterback out west to make Denver or Los Angeles or somewhere or Houston or whatever to promote him. I'm like, oh, goodness. Come on, people. Get in the freaking 21st century. And I know you're going to say something smart like, well, you don't have internet. So what? I haven't missed nothing. I got you, Ron Fowler, to tell me the time and temperature and sports. What else you need to know?
It's hard to imagine in 2024 that we have somebody that doesn't have internet, but.
That's right.
I mean, do you feel like a member of the Amish?
No.
Okay.
No. I can't wear my hair in a bun. And I will look stupid with one of them little, excuse me, I'm not making fun of them, so don't y'all start saying, Tommy, you said bad things about the Army. I'm not wearing a black hat. Sorry.
Okay.
And grow that little, you got that little beard, but we won't talk about your beard. But
I've trimmed a little bit.
I know. You got a black hat. You might be Amish. You just not told nobody yet. But you drive a truck. You might be a spy. I don't know. It's great to hear from Danny.
Democracy Dan.
Yeah, so the room is today that I didn't run them off after we had our little get-together that Thursday night or Tuesday night. He sat by me, and we never heard or seen him again but 1 to 2 times after that. So,
Well, he didn't bring it up, but I bet he got offended yesterday when Biscuit Bruce was talking about out eating him at Big Mike's.
Probably. Yeah, Bruce did finish first on his play. I didn't. I had to take a go ball.
Now, Jumbo came in and took a little bit of a victory lap. I don't remember Jumbo eating a full steak, but he said he did.
Oh, no, I had to take, I listened to y'all with my thought, oh, yeah, get the big one. You can do it. No, my day's passed. Nope.
And then we had Robert in Brookwood said he was going with a pork chop, so he went with a pork chop.
Yeah.
Which is good. There's nothing wrong with pork
Didn't
chop.
you do surf and turf or something like that?
No, I got a steak, but then I added the shrimp
Okay, that's what I thought. Something
kebab to it, I think is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but I ate too many of the onion rings before. That's my excuse. They have great onion rings. Good grief. Down there. I don't know. No. I took a go-home plate. I'm not even going to deny it. And I had a nice meal the next day, too, so hey, for lunch. I thought I'd win both ways. Had a great steak that night and had steak for lunch. So I'm winning on both accounts in my book. So, you got to talk about what Georgia's problem is. Well, if he gets suspended, he can transfer out. Well, then there got to be a rule, in my opinion, that if he transfers, he still got to serve his punishment. The NCAA, I know they don't have a spine. Say, no, you can transfer, but you're still going to be punished. This is serious. Domestic violence against your family or something, how was it read?
Okay, according to their police reports, Rob Thomas was arrested based on a second-degree felony, children and family violence, and another 2 misdemeanor counts of battery, family violence.
Well, that shouldn't be a no-brainer. When you attack a child, okay, say he transfer out. He gets off, and another school don't let him, he don't suffer no punishment. Guess what? He got to come back to the state of Georgia in Athens. You think that judge, when he walks in that room, going to look at him like, it's middle of the football season, you playing for somebody else. Guess what, homeboy? I'm going to throw you in the pokey for 90 days. No bond, no bail. Enjoy your time in Athens again on the state of Georgia. A judge can do that. So don't get too high. These players don't get too high and mighty. The judge can slap a very nice bond on you for domestic violence. Most states, a judge have a very lenient, fine way to fine you. And this is his second time around for this? No. They can hit him with the habitual offender status. Yeah.
Kirby is got some problems. So,
well, sure, I hate it for him. It's not a moment to be happy, glee, because you don't want to see a child or spousal abuse or any kind of elder abuse, anybody towards any other person. For Corey out in Trussville, Halen McClenny is retiring from softball after this season. Just want to get a softball plug in.
Yeah. Hey, Tommy, I appreciate you, man, as always. Roll Tide.
I'm so sorry I ruined your Friday, but I take great delight in it, too. So,
Well, you have absolutely destroyed this show, Tommy. You have brought it to a screeching halt.
Well, I can't follow Democracy Dan. My goodness, we just got to get him a
Well, if you get that internet tool and that Twitter machine, you'll have you some new opinions.
I got enough on this.
Oh, okay. Have you ever logged on to the internet at all?
Yes. I had it for years till some crap started about 9 years ago. They're going to improve it and all this. And
So what was your carrier? Did you have like AOL dial-up or something, or what?
yeah,
was
but I was up to date. I mean, I was on a DirecTV or AT&T.
Was it high speed?
Yes. Oh yeah, I moved past the little dial tone ringing light. You know. Yeah.
You know, that may be my goal of 2025 to get you on the internet.
Well, I mean, you can start a GoMe fund. I don't have no pride. Yeah.
Okay.
I take hands out. I mean, yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, yeah, y'all started a thing yesterday without me. I mean, you know, y'all started this cookout thing, and, you know, you talked to everybody but me. You know, you did it after I got off the phone. I know how you think of me. Yeah. I'm going to start talking to the other show more and tell them how you mistreat me. You know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Tommy, I got to run, man.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You do as well. Let's go to Chris over in Mississippi. Chris, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Can we fire things back up again, fella?
I think you can. I think you can.
Let's start off with a big old roll tide and a drill, baby, drill.
Baby, drill. Hey, I miss that $1.75 gallon on gasoline.
Woo. Hey, the guy who cut some grass, has a little lawn businessman. Way it's been for the last almost 4 years. Ain't a whole lot of money right now when you have to pay them gas prices. Guess who I passed those prices on to?
The consumer.
The consumer gets to suck it up too. So let me tell you this, and here's a comparison for you.
Okay.
And I don't normally get political, but I mean,
everybody
Danny
is now.
Yeah. Danny called in, man. He got me off the sideline. He got me in the game. I couldn't help myself. You know, y'all staying around there. You talk about what do you do when you see an Auburn fan?
Yeah, we kick them.
Yeah, well, voting for 4 more years of this would be like that Auburn fan asking you to do it again. And to keep doing it. That's the Auburn fan asking you to kick them, and not just, you know, you being an Alabama fan. But you're asking to be kicked in the head with a steel toe work boot over and over again if we continue going on the path.
Like, I would love to sit down truly with a liberal, okay? And I'd love to sit down and let them explain to us. Really, I mean, be honest, okay? Not because you hate Trump, okay? But tell me what you could run on. Like, what is there one thing that's better today than it was 4 years ago? Like you have something better. What is that?
Oh, the whole joke about all this is, I mean, it's such irony. I mean, the irony is so thick. I mean, you can't cut it. I mean, you know, all we talk about is democracy is in danger. I mean, democracy. Aren't you supposed to vote for your party's nominee? I mean, don't you have to officially run and vote for who's going to be on your party's ballot?
Well, that only applies
it's now we're just appointing people because they're the vice president. The only thing they're running on is they're not Trump. I mean,
that's it. That's the only thing that they can run on. That's it. And listen, Noah used to tell me all the time. It was simply because of that. They hate a man so bad that they are willing to watch this country go to you know where because they hate one individual.
Well, I mean, I would feel really disenfranchised as if I was a Democrat that I didn't get to have a say so in who. I mean, actually, somebody I could get behind, somebody would believe in, you know, somebody that would represent my party. I mean, this is like third world. I mean, Venezuelan politics. I mean, to the 100th degree here, how this is being handled. I can't believe there's not any more outrage about this. I mean, I guess we're just so scared. They're so scared Trump's going to get back into office that just all bets are off the table. But this is insanity. How this has happened. How this is taking place. I mean, she hasn't got the nomination yet officially, but I mean,
think about the businesses that have closed. I mean, when you got Walmart out here closing, you got, I mean, and not that I'm a big Red Lobster guy, but I mean, you've got literally Red Lobsters that have closed. I mean, all types of places who've been around for years that have been shut down because of our current policies. But hey, we're told that, no, come on. It's just, it's corporate greed and all that baloney that we hear. So it's just, it's a unique bunch, man. They are a unique bunch.
When you go in and get a sandwich or a hamburger and fries, and and it's you come out and it's $15 for what used to be, you could probably get $8 or $9, and it's like twice the price now. I don't understand. I can't see. I guess people are just conditioned. There's a lot of people just conditioned just to take it and keep, actually ask for more. I mean, it don't matter. I mean, my pocketbook and my checking account is sure not appreciative of it. I mean, I don't like having to pay extra that much. I mean, it's not like it's been the period of over 20, 25, 30 years. I mean, it's just like all of a sudden everything's like doubled in price. I mean, but
I went the other day. I went the other day to Chick-fil-A, which obviously people know that I love that place. We have a family of 3, and we have 2 dogs. Okay, I ordered 3 combos. I upgraded the 2 drinks, 2 of the drinks for peach milkshakes. I ordered the $1.95 cup of ice cream, and it was $56 for 3 combos.
I told my wife we were out of town last week, and used to we could take. I mean, on average, we could feed our family of 4, and it's usually always called them a $100 crew. Everywhere you went, it's always been $100.
Sure.
To feed about 4. Well, now it's closer to $200 easily. I mean, no matter where you go, it's like twice the price. But I don't know. Like I said, voting for this, to continue to vote for this insanity is like an Auburn fan asking you to kick them in the head again. I mean, just keep kicking me. I don't know. After you've been beat down so long, I guess you can't think for yourself anymore, and it don't matter anymore. But anyway, that's Danny's done got me going political.
Hey, the whole bunch is. I mean, the app messages. I mean, it obviously. Listen, there's a lot of people. I was looking here a couple of minutes ago from a guy that said Hick in Southside. Brother Ryan, I just hope we get to enjoy football this season in somewhat peace, but my spirit says not that much. That is something that we really haven't thought about. But the election will be right there in the middle of the prime time of football.
Well, it is, and it does give us something. I'm actually starting to the bug is starting to bite a little bit. I know it's still the heat of July, but I do listen to you every day, and the more you talk about it, the more I'm kind of the anticipation is starting to get here, and I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be an exciting season. I'm excited to go watch, the Western Kentucky game. I mean, I would never in a million years be excited about going to watch Bama drub a mid-major team like that, but I'm just ready to see what this football team is going to look like, man. I expect to be standing room only in Bryant Denny Stadium at Saban Field. I like that on opening weekend, man. Gosh, that's going to be great.
36 days away. Brought to you by Alabama Credit Union. So a lot of excitement.
I look forward to it, and I appreciate you letting me get in. Just remember, Roll Tide and drill, baby.
Hey,
I'll holler at you later.
That's
brother.
Conservative Chris over in Mississippi. So we're all coming up with names now. So thanks.
I got it. That's it. Conservative Chris from here on. That's it.
Conservative Chris over in Mississippi. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Chris. Mississippi. We'll take more phone calls. J-Rob, get ready. We're coming to you next. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
Be sure to check out the weekend weather outlook and temperature guide for all West Alabama counties to help you plan your weekend at TuscaloosaThread.com. And for drivers, the bridge over the railroad on 5th Street past the Tuscaloosa National Airport will be closed for 2 weeks. And tap the free Tuscaloosa Thread app to find out more about how former Tide defensive lineman Isaiah Buggs has been officially sentenced. Plus, get details on which former Tide player will become one of the highest paid NFL players at TuscaloosaThread.com.
Get 24/7 local news coverage and sports updates when you download the free Tuscaloosa Thread app and sign up for twice daily email newsletters. Tide 100.9 Traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Relocate to the left lane traveling on McFarland eastbound at University Boulevard because we've got an accident knocking out that right lane. And also another on McFarland. It just doesn't stop here, but on the eastbound lanes of McFarland at 15th Street Veterans Memorial Parkway, you have another fender bender. That one is also creating delays. Road work on Colonial Drive between Judy Bonner Drive and University Boulevard. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
Nuke's Eatery, they're on the fringe of the campus of the University of Alabama, close enough that you can smell the championships. The Nuke's Q sandwich, still the number one sandwich across the franchise. The French dip sandwich, I think, is going to challenge for that number one spot. The double club, the single club, you can pair those up with a great sandwich, salad, California-style pizzas, all available for catering from a group of 5 to 500, a small office party to a large corporate event. Joel Bromfield, they've done a great job for my
renovations. Experience the wow factor. Contact Shoot Masonry and Specialties at 205-887-3807 today and unleash your home's full potential.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A warm, humid afternoon. A few scattered showers and thunderstorms around through tonight. The high today 87, the low tonight 74. Tomorrow, partly sunny. The chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms by afternoon. The high 89. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
The Game with Ryan Fowler. Powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. On your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
The sun is hot and that old clock is moving slow, and so am I. Workday passes like molasses in wintertime, but it's July. Getting paid by the hour and older by the minute.
Brian Keith Ellis, Mr. Ellis, the Northport Power Equipment folks. Now, they have closed as of about 30 seconds ago, but they will be open tomorrow, 8 until noon for all you weekend warriors out there. If you're looking for one of those Husqvarna products, and I actually drove one of the commercial ones a couple of days ago, and it is, wow, very highly impressed. The options there, and you can find it for the residential consumer and the professional landscaper. You can find all the weed trimmer, the backpack blowers, the handheld blowers, the battery operated tools, and all the service department. You will find those chainsaws customized to fit your needs. No job too big, no job too small. Pole saws, weed trimmers, backpack blowers, handheld blowers, Echo outdoor power tools. Go over and see our friends, Bryant and Keith Ellis, Mr. Ellis. Those guys are great. They do a great job of serving this community since 1996. Since 1996, 2 blocks east of the Northport Civic Center. And you'll find those. Let's continue. Northport Power Equipment open tomorrow, 8 until noon. 8 until noon. So you got some options there. Also have SCAG commercial mowers and residential as well. Let's go to J. Rob Montgomery. J. Rob, how are you, my friend? Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Happy Friday and God bless America, Ryan Fowler. I'm doing fine.
Tell you what, boy, we got a lot of Patriots out here today. We got a lot of Patriots out here today.
Democracy Dan got everybody fired up and started this thing. Well, actually, you and Robert and Paul started it, but Democracy Dan really got everybody fired up. Got chill bumps running down through my spine. It's awesome to be an American, and I love hearing stuff like that. I hope that he puts out a YouTube video or goes on the road. He needs to get up there. He don't have to preach to us. He needs to preach to Wisconsin, Ohio, Georgia,
Georgia.
Some of those blue states that need to be converted, they need to hear that message. They need to be converted. They need to hear that message. Sure. What do you think about that? Why don't me and you and him go on the road, and we'll get some dates and some crowds.
Well, we're already going to be in Wisconsin with the Alabama game. We could just register to vote up there. I mean, you don't have to have an ID. You just go in and tell who you are and get you a ballot.
We can get a dead. We can go to a cemetery and get a dead folks name, and we can just go ahead and write their name down. We'll be good. I promise.
Yeah, and it's
or go to the border, get 100 illegal aliens coming across, get their names. Write them down,
bring them on
and
over.
you'll be just as well.
Honesty and integrity was thrown out the window a long time ago in the political parties.
You ain't lying, and it surely was 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago.
Now, J-Rob, a little bird told me that I owe you a little something.
Well, I forgot about that $100, Ryan. I mean, you ain't got to worry about that, man.
Well, I got to do a little something better than $100. I mean, listen, anytime that I perform the famous song, it's worth more than $100.
Oh man, that's you're too early. So you don't need to worry about that.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy early birthday to J-Rob. Turning 71 tomorrow.
71? Come on, man. You're aging me really bad.
You smell like a skunk.
Come on, man. Come on. Do I sound or act like I'm 71? Well, I may act it sometimes, but
nothing wrong with that. But no, happy early birthday to you, man. Happy early birthday to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary.
Chris in Mississippi, don't you know you're supposed to be? He's supposed to be using electric lawnmowers and weed eaters. Don't he know that?
Well, for the professionals, and I know they. He's told me multiple times. He's a big Husqvarna guy. So, but when you look at it from that standpoint. Battery operated tools are really, really good, and they've made a lot of improvement. I don't know if they've made a step that is in the professional landscaper, unless you're going to carry one of these big battery chargers on your truck, and maybe that would be an option. But, I mean, professionals...
They're going to have to make a lot of improvement.
Well, they're turnover. Well, and let me tell you something. I've got a battery operated tools. Weed trimmer, I've used those. The backpack blower, I've never used one of those, but I have used the handheld blower, and I've used a chainsaw. Now, you'll be shocked at a battery-operated chainsaw, but I don't know if it's...
I've got a steel blower, and I've got a Black & Decker pole saw, and some smaller tools. Then they work good, but I know Chris is laughing at me because a professional, they can't use battery-operated stuff. They wouldn't last near as long.
Yeah.
Because they move. They're fast. Time is money to them guys.
And I mean, there's they're in between jobs. You might have 15, 20, 30 minutes between jobs, but that's a chance to. I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they've really made they've made a ton of improvement, but I don't know if they're there yet. It's kind of like with vehicles. Okay, yeah, you can go get an electric vehicle.
You can go to Birmingham from Montgomery, but you may not be able to get back.
Yeah, a great point. Not without stopping and getting a little charge. So, yeah.
If you can find a place. But some of that stuff's okay. But we're going to have to keep using fossil fuels in the meantime. We can't just shut it down. And hopefully, the right man will be in office that will get all that stuff fired back up again and shut up some of that rhetoric that we're hearing. But 36 days, Ryan, I'm getting fired up, man. 36 days. We'll
36
be
days away. 36 days away. We're 5 days away from Alabama's first practice, and we're cashing in on a big free-for-all Friday here in Tuscaloosa.
I'm getting them excited. I'm getting everything ready to make the move over to T-Town and over there for the year. But,
now, do you bring your camper up one time, or do you bring it up multiple times?
I bring it up one time, and I have a place over there where I park it.
Okay.
After we move from our tailgating spot, and then I bring it home one time in October for Halloween, because it's a big Halloween get together down at a campsite that my wife loves to go to, and I can't get away with not going to that.
Okay.
So I am going to go to that, but usually it's on Nick Saban's birthday, and I don't know how that's going to work out this year. We'll have to see how the schedule works out.
Well, and let me look real quick. Do we have a bye week that October 31st?
That's the second, I believe, is still a bye week.
It is still a bye week. That November the 9th. So we play a game. We play the Missouri Tigers on the 26th, and then we have until November the 9th. So we do have a little bit of bye week. That would be, let's see here. I guess it would be November the 2nd. You said it right there, the 2nd. So I don't know when you guys are going to celebrate Halloween, but
it depends on how they do that.
Thursday, yeah.
Either way, I'm going to be in Bryant-Denny Stadium to watch the game. We play South Carolina and in Missouri through there somehow, don't we?
We do. The Missouri Tigers on the 26th, and LSU down in Baton Rouge is on the 9th.
Okay. Well, I hope it'll work out for me. I know you got a lot of callers trying to get in. It's free-for-all Friday, and I'm going to get out of the way and step out of here. So I hope you have a great weekend.
Hey, and J-Rob, be looking now. We got our grand prize drawing coming up in a couple of minutes. We're going to be giving away a ton of stuff. So your name is in there because you had a qualifier.
All right, man. Well, I know I'm not going to win, but congratulations to the winner. You have a great weekend. You're the best, Ryan.
Thank you.
Roll Tide!
J-Rob Montgomery. Let's continue with more phone calls. Actually, let's break right here because we're at 38, and then we'll come back. We'll take more phone calls. We will get to, looks like Henry, Marty, Corey, Bama Nick, and many others. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Pat's Florist and Gourmet Baskets in downtown Tuscaloosa, 1010 Queen City Avenue. For over 60 years, they've been serving our community. They specialize in a large inventory of fresh flowers, weddings, gourmet fruit baskets. If you're trying to lift someone's spirits, it is Pat's Florist Gourmet Baskets by calling 205-345-5093. Delivery options are available, but it's more than just flowers at Pat's Florist and Gourmet Baskets, 1010 Queen City Avenue.
Text DEAL to 511-511.
Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
Catch every game and every moment right here. This is your home of Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
For me, I'll be working late tonight. Wife hangs up the phone, bursts into tears, calls her sister up and cries, "Get over here." Sister tells her boyfriend, "Be back in a while."
All right, we welcome you right back into the game here in Tuscaloosa. Tide at 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Henry, good afternoon. You're in the game. Roll Tide to you.
Roll Tide, Mr. Ryan. How are you doing this day?
Man, I'm good. I hope you're doing good.
I am doing good over here in Texas. Hey, I got a couple things to yell at you real quick.
Okay.
Were you surprised when you went to media days and there wasn't nobody there?
A little bit. Yeah.
No. I tried to tell you, Texas is not – college football here in Texas is not keen. It's high school football kind of rules, but it's mostly pro.
It was a little bit of a shock, to be honest with you. It really was. I mean, when you walked in and you're like, where's the fans? Well, they're at the Cowboys minicamp or whatever. I mean, I don't know.
Right. Absolutely. They love it. Here in San Antonio, it's all about the Spurs, the Texans, and very seldom do you ever hear them mention the Aggies or the Longhorns. But that's just Texas. Hey, I was listening yesterday. I haven't had a lot of chance to get to call in, but I did catch something y'all were talking about. You were talking with Peter Burns, and you mentioned something about Saban. If DeBoer, when he wins it next year, is he going to be a little upset?
Yeah, we did. Well, you look at it in a lot of different ways. I mean, I think I asked the question: could it be a little bit embarrassing?
Okay, that's what it was. I mean, I got in right at the end of your phone call with Peter Burns, so I didn't get to hear the whole thing. But, I'm sitting there thinking about Saban's last 4 years at Bama. He was 3-time SEC division champ, 3-time SEC champ. He was a national champion. He was a 4th and 2 probably away from winning it last year. If they would have made that stop on 4th and 2. The year they lost to Georgia, if Jay Will and Mechie didn't get hurt, they would have walked Georgia again that year. So you're looking at possible 3 national championships his last 4 years.
Well, but instead, the facts are that they won 1 and 6.
Well, they won 2 and 7. Then, if you want to put it that way.
True. But I'm just saying.
People are just getting. It just sounds like people are just like Bama's. They're nowhere now, but they're playing for the championship still, and they have been really close to winning it.
They have, but we were winning in 3 out of the last 4, and I know college football's changed a lot. It has.
That's okay.
I think it's fair to look at it. I think it's fair to look at what you're saying. I think there's probably an argument for both sides.
Oh yeah, there's always an argument.
But his coaching staff was where.
Yeah,
there was some weak coaches that are no longer here. All the ones they kept were pretty good coaches.
Yeah, even with that weak staff, look how close they came.
That's fair.
So, hey, think about this. Jalen Milroe is the only returning SEC quarterback not to lose a conference game. If that don't give you hope for this coming season, and he's already beat the top teams in the conference. So I just believe this team is going to be unbelievable. The only thing I'm really worried about, I think our biggest loss from last year is actually, I think, losing Steele, the defensive coordinator. I think that's going to hurt a little bit, but I think they'll make up for it with the offense this year a little bit more.
Well, I think that's the part that Chris was talking about a couple of minutes ago. It's you just you think we know what Kalen DeBoer is going to do, but we really don't. We just think we know what he's going to do.
Right. I'm just hoping the defense, if it can just be anywhere near as good as it was last year, we have nothing to worry about.
And if the offense is clicking, that's your side. So, hey, Henry, I got to run, man. I'm trying to squeeze in.
All right.
Yeah, final few calls
all
right
here. Ryan, roll tide, partner.
Roll Tide. Let's break here. We'll come back. We will take Corey Trustfield coming up next. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. McFarland Boulevard eastbound at University. Accident blocking the right lane. Also got another accident on McFarland Boulevard eastbound at 15th Street. If you're traveling along I-20.
Home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
Blue Spring Living Water is located in Bluntsville, Alabama, Blount County, about an hour north of Birmingham. Blue Spring Living Water is harvested and bottled from a centuries-old natural spring on a private family farm. Blue Spring is an all-natural water source that flows just under 1 million gallons a day. They have partnered with Waterway of Alabama, and they've been in the water delivery business for over 30 years. To have Blue Spring Living Water delivered right to your home, right to your front door every month. New customers get their 5 jugs for $50, and the empties are exchanged every month for new ones. I know we have it at the Fowler household. We drink more water because of BlueSpringLivingWater.com. You can sign up at 205-602-3426. Talk to someone directly. Blue Spring Living Water can also be found Mark Smart down.
You with all of your CPAP needs, including the new Luna Travel CPAP. Call 339-8013 or stop by Mid-South in the Northbrook Plaza on McFarland Boulevard.
Big Mike's downtown Moundville, only about 15 minutes from where I'm located. Also in Gunnersville, Alabama, Thomasville, Andalusia, Auburn, Alabama, Orange Beach. You'll find one of the best steaks in the state of Alabama, voted by the Alabama Cattlemen's Association and many other great publications recognizing the great ribeye, the seafood entrees. You'll find those, the great service. It is Big Mike's downtown Moundville. If you're looking for a great steak, Wednesday through Saturday, 4 until 10, Big Mike's downtown Moundville.
You're inside the game on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Old cash, I swear that's the furthest damn thing from me.
Now, Wyatt, I'm going to tell you, we're going to be giving away our grand prize package coming up in a couple of minutes, and we're going to be giving away a lot of great goodies. We appreciate each and every one of these folks. RecTech Grills, thank you guys so much for helping us throughout the number of years, man. RecTech, with all those guys over there in Augusta, right outside of Augusta, Georgia, Evansville, Georgia, I believe is what it's called. RecTech, RecTeq. We're going to give away one of those grills. We're going to give away Rocky head-to-toe package. Head-to-toe. That is a huge value. Rocky boots, Moultrie products. Thank you, guys. Dan Moultrie for being a long-time supporter of this program. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you guys. Mark Smart gift package. We'll also throw in a Big Mike's gift card. Let me see what else. A ton of little goodies, man. A lot of little additional prizes. And we want to say thank you to all those great sponsors. Like I said, RecTech, Dan Moultrie, Moultrie Products, RockyBoots.com. And we give away a ton of goodies. I was looking through a couple of minutes ago with all of our winners and some great reminders. Dawson is no longer part of our family. He had 2 entries in last year, and if he happens to be the guy that we'll draw out, then we'll notify his family of that, and that would be an option. We lost an elder statesman of this program. And by the way, AJ from Verbena, today marks 1 year that we lost AJ in Verbena. So we have a great caller family from all across the entire country thinking about a lot of those guys. Let's go to Corey in Trussville. Corey, 60 seconds. Let it rip. Go.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm incredible. What's on your mind, my friend?
Well, I'm just ready to get this season started. It's been too long, and we're 36 days away, and I think this is going to be a fun season.
I do as well, man.
What player outside of the known ones are you excited to see, like a newcomer?
Well, I want to see different roles. I want to see what these running backs can do, because we've put so much pressure on Jam Miller and Justice Haynes. I think you can look at those 2 guys right there and say it's got to start in the backfield. It's got to start in the backfield. You want to see what Ryan Williams has got? Sure. I want to see what Kendrick Law in this expanded row is going to look like. But most importantly, got to win the trenches, man. You got to win the trenches. You don't win the trenches, you can't win the game.
Yeah, that's where the SEC's won and lost, because that will take a lot of pressure off the secondary, and it'll open up the offense on the other side of the ball.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Thank you, Corey. I appreciate you, man.
Good talk to you, Ryan. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Marty, Arkansas. Marty, 1 minute. Let it go.
All right, Ryan. You better get that thing you're talking about yesterday going. This is just a bunch of BS. But, Ryan, thing about it, we send up people, Trump will win, and then in 28, they'll vote a Democrat back in there. So, I mean, it's crazy the way it is, and their country's corrupt anyway. And politicians go up there and come back a millionaires, and they don't care about us.
They don't.
Once they get up there, they don't care about us. They become millionaires, and that's it. And the only reason the Walmart, down from me, closed, too many people are going in there and stealing. Some of them are closed because people stealing today. People have no morals today.
They do not.
Ryan, I'll yell at you later. I might call you over the weekend because there's something I need to ask you.
I got a pretty... Thanks, man. Let's continue. Ellis, 1 minute. Let it rip. Go.
How's it going, Ryan Fowler?
Well, we're good, man. We're good. Just 36 days away from Alabama Crimson Tide football.
Too much hatred, Ryan. That's all I'm going to say. Too much hatred.
Okay.
in America, in the world.
There is.
Period.
There is.
Yep. But hope you have an awesome weekend and roll tide.
Roll tide. Let's go to Bama Nick, final caller. Bama Nick, before I give away this big grand prize package. Matter of fact, you've got 2 names in the bucket.
I want to hear my song first, Paul.
You're limited with time today.
I don't care, Paul. All I got to say is, Eddie G, back on the air. Democracy Dan, great call today, buddy.
Democracy Dan.
You're definitely in the top 4, Dan. And I want to give a shout out to you and Peter Burns yesterday. It was a great interview, fella. Great interview. You need Peter Burns on there every week. Get him. I'll call him and tell him to get on your show.
All right, Bama Nick. Democracy.
And I am the legend. I am the legend. As Peter Burns told you, I'm a Nick the legend.
He's what he said. That's what he said. Hey, I got to give away this package, man. I got to get out of here, and hopefully, you never know. I mean, it could be Bama Nick.
Well, I ain't going to win it. Congratulations, whoever does.
Well, y'all a bunch of negative nannies. I mean, bunch of Debbie Downers. All right, thanks, man.
Whoever wins, I'm going to demand a recount.
I'll ask for an ID. Thanks. All right, I got to run.
Roll tide, buddy.
I got to run. Let me.
All right, roll tide.
White, if you'll cut him off, we'll reach in here. I got about 30 names in here for the Parlay Pick contest. We're giving away a Rectech grill, the Moultrie, and an icer cooler. We're giving away a trail camera, courtesy of Moultrie Mobiles, and a Rocky head-to-toe package. I have selected the name. He had more balls in there than anybody else. Paul in Lincoln, you have picked up the grand prize package. Paul in Lincoln picked up the grand prize package. He had 3 balls in the bucket. Dawson had 2. J-Rob had 1. Bama Nick had 2. I remind you that we call this program The Game, and the only way that you can win the big game, the game of life, is to walk daily with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Good night, T-Town. See you Monday at 2.
Thank you for listening to The Game.